Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A good Monday morning to you. A good start of the Oilers playoffs day to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage, live right here on your clear choice for Edmonton Sports. That is Edmonton Sports Talk. Thanks to everyone for listening live on YouTube or watching live on YouTube, listening live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, tune in iHeartRadio, and thank you to those listening to this on podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with you here. Today, we've got Dash returning to the show. We also got the glorious coach. He's 1-0 in the Heavy Hockey Showdown. He brought the title to Team EST. That is Pizza Boy. Pizza Boy? Mo? What do you want to be referred to as today?
Let's go with Pizza Boy.
Pizza Boy? Pizza Boy? Just a sincere thank you. A sincere thank you for everything you did for Team Edmonton Sports Talk. We really appreciate it.
Despite Tommy's switching allegiances, we were able to pull it through.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. We
this
battled.
is going to start.
We battled.
This is going to start. This is everybody's anti-Tommy. You're taking shots at me.
I'm not anti-Tommy.
No, I know. You're my agent. So
He
Dash
defended. I should attempt.
Congratulations.
He attempted to defend you.
I was the one who was brave enough
to
in
do
a
the right
charity
thing.
hockey tournament to do the right thing.
Yeah, and gets villainized for it.
Yeah, thank you.
This goes to show you who's sitting.
Welcome, Pizza Boy.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Welcome-ish.
We got lots to get to on the show today. We're going to talk a lot of soccer today. We got to go with the Manchester United's 1-0 loss. No, just kidding.
Restaurant
Just
etiquette.
kidding. Just kidding. We will get into WrestleMania because it was a big weekend this weekend, apparently, because it was WrestleMania.
Huge week.
We will get to the Heavy Hockey Showdown. We'll have to go back and revisit that a little bit.
Yeah, we don't have to.
But
We could a little.
yeah, exactly. But there is a game happening tonight in Los Angeles that I've been told about. Apparently, the Oilers are playing this team called the Los Angeles Kings. Fourth
I've heard
time,
of them.
apparently.
Yeah.
Fourth time, apparently. So we got a lot to get to when it comes to Oilers playoffs overall. How you guys feeling today? Isn't there just a little something extra in the air
Always.
when it's game day in the playoffs, when it just starts?
Yeah. Yeah, the nerves definitely start once the game comes on.
That's a lovely T-shirt you're wearing, by the way.
Thank you. I thought we're talking wrestling, we're talking hockey.
Yeah.
Well, let's just bring them together.
And okay, this is
a limited edition Cody Rhodes Oilers shirt.
okay.
So this whole thing was finishing his story because he lost at WrestleMania
yeah.
2 years ago and then finished the story the next year. So they came to town and then Edmonton lost. So this is kind of their Cody Rhodes story. So hopefully they
I
can
like
follow up and finish their story as well. This should be a 5 though. So I got to email WWE and tell them that they screwed that up.
They'll be
But,
like, Pizza Boy,
yeah.
we've got one
Yeah.
hot and ready for
Yeah.
you.
But no,
I see what you did there.
Oh yeah.
There's layers to this.
Thank you. Well done. Well done.
I'm sure they put the rookies on this side.
Yeah, there you go.
Dash, how you feeling for this?
Playoffs or the I don't
Well, for the show?
Yeah, there's the show. I mean, it's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, no, that's what
Be
I'm
in
saying. That's
the
show.
presence of
Wait a
Tom
second.
Gazzola.
I like that guy.
And others. Yeah, it's always a buzz in the city, I think. Like there's always like you said, a different feeling in the air, if you will. We've just spent the entire regular season having it not exist, right? It didn't matter. This is what we're playing for. This is what it was all about. This is game 1 tonight. So yeah, we're here. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm not overly optimistic for the series, to be honest, but we can get into that.
You're then more like me on this one. I'm not optimistic for the Edmonton Oilers. And I don't think the news that came out yesterday helps that optimism for Oiler fans.
No Kane.
No Kane. Frederick
Still unsure.
and that's one of those, they always say you're not 100% going to the playoffs, but you never get healthy in the playoffs. So what is Frederick going to be when he is finally ready in the lineup? What is Kane going to be when he's finally ready for the lineup?
I'll tell you what, they'll be better than Kasperi Kapanen.
What is Stetcher going to be when he's fine? Yeah, but when GCL Diesel orange and blue breakfast, the LA Kings, not a lot on their side of the injury report.
Tanner
Janot,
Janot.
yeah, one guy.
That's it.
Yeah.
There's your injury report for the LA Kings.
Well, may as well not play the series and just concede the first round to LA, right?
No, not that. But this is the first time I would say in the 4 years where I think the Oilers are, to me, the true underdog going into the series.
See, I disagree with them being the underdog. And I know Chris Knobloch was playing that up a little bit yesterday in his press conference. And
Oh,
I'm
why
listening
wouldn't he?
there and I'm like, you sly dog. You are playing the dark arts. The Oilers are not the underdog in this series. The Oilers are far superior to the LA Kings. I'm not even saying I get blamed.
Far superior.
Yes. I get called
Wow.
Oiler hater, dark cloud over Oilers.
Oh, Tommy, you
telling
are
you, right-
not a no. You are
Some
not a
people
homer.
have said
Nowhere
that.
close.
These guys are gonna run over the Kings in six.
I think
Well,
it's
that's
just
you
so
can't
many
run
question
someone
marks.
over in 6 and dominate.
It's gonna be a
them.
battle, but
That's 4 or 5 if you're completely
I
better
agree.
than another
Yeah,
team.
I
That's
agree.
4 or 5.
they're gonna run over the Kings in 6. They'll let one slip away.
I say Oilers in 6 as well. There's just so many question marks, and it's just like, what do you have? Like, it's, if they're healthy, then I would say, there's a chance even at 4 or 5, but there's so many question marks, and every day it's, this guy might be ready. No, he's not ready. This guy's coming. No, and then he's out again. And so I know there's just so many question marks that it's like, I don't think with the Oilers are an underdog, but it's definitely, I think, the first time in the 4 years where you're like, this could, if they lose, you'd understand it. But
I disagree. I don't think they are gonna lose in this series.
I don't. Here's a
but
hot
what
take.
if
I don't
they
think
did?
the Oilers will ever
What if
sweep
they
a
What
did?
if
series.
they
Too
did?
bad.
No.
Regroup
But if
and-
they did, would you not sit there what Mo just said there and go, this was understandable?
That would be a coping mechanism, I would say.
Okay. Wow, you're very dismissive of the LA Kings.
I'm very dismissive of the LA Kings.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked to be honest.
And I'll have to push back on the one thing. You can't dismiss a team in 6.
I will say this.
You cannot dismiss a team
did
in
you guys
6. That
watch
is a
Toronto-
tight series now. That is a longer series. To dismiss a team, that's 4 or 5 games.
With an
Did you watch
exception.
Toronto and Ottawa last night?
parts of it.
Did you
Just
watch
parts.
Toronto? Toronto absolutely dominated Ottawa.
Yeah.
There were a few snippets, some moments where Ottawa had some momentum. Couldn't do diddly squat with it.
Why are you comparing Ottawa to LA here?
Because LA
Was better
won
than the
season
Oilers
series.
in the
Ottawa
LA.
was better than Toronto. They
not for the
not
whole
record
season.
wise, but Toronto didn't have the same. Well, Toronto had some injuries, but okay. So Toronto was the better team overall in the standings. Ottawa sweeps Toronto in the season series. People are so we had Ross Levitan on Hella Hockey saying, you know what, this might be the Sens, plucky Sens. They got Toronto's number. No, Toronto just said, you know what, it's playoff hockey. We're going to stomp you, and they did last night. I think that's what's going to happen in the series with the Oilers and the Kings too.
Yeah, the comparison doesn't work for me at all.
How does it not? It's the same thing.
No, because Ottawa.
The Oilers had
Ottawa was
injuries
lower.
and rested their guys for a full month.
Ottawa's not been to the playoffs in a number of years. The LA Kings have been in the playoffs 4 years, so there's playoff experience.
Regardless.
Ottawa was lower than Toronto in the standings. LA was higher than the Edmonton Oilers in the standings. The LA Kings have this amazing home record. The LA Kings have better players overall. Like, to compare the LA Kings to the Ottawa Senators, I think you're either
I'm not comparing the Kings to the Senators, Matthew. What I'm comparing is the Oilers to the Maple Leafs and how they are going to engage in
Sure.
playoff mode and absolutely take no prisoners.
Sure, okay, but you then still have to look at the opposition. There.
I don't
And
care for the
The
opposition,
Ottawa
and neither do the
Senators.
Oilers.
That's fine, but the Oilers did go 7 games against the LA Kings 1 year. They
Yeah.
won 6 games against the LA
That
Kings
was
1 year.
Edmonton's first foray. Well, actually, no.
So that's Ottawa's first foray in the playoffs, and they get smoked by the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's my point. Like,
LA
you
also
still have
has-
to look at the opponents, and the LA Kings are going to cause a challenge to the Edmonton Oilers, because why play? Let's just put the Oilers in the second round. Why are we playing this?
Okay.
The flip side too.
The
on
Kings
that one.
also have 3 years of losing to the same team and the same players. So I think they're, as far as, I guess, the hunger and an experience against playing the same team, like, I would think that would kind of, you compare them to Ottawa. Ottawa's been out for a few years.
I'm not comparing the Kings. Let's make something perfectly clear here. I'm not comparing the LA Kings, the team, to the Ottawa Senators.
series to
but
the
I'm
series.
comparing the situation and the better team, and that's Edmonton and Toronto, and how Toronto handled Ottawa yesterday. Edmonton will do the same overall to the LA
Right.
Kings in this series.
But
I'm
you
not
are
comparing
but
LA
they're
and
part of it.
Ottawa
But-
at all.
But they are part of that conversation. They have to be.
At
If you're comparing,
minimal.
because there is an opponent you have to go play against. And so now the LA Kings are a much different team than the Ottawa Senators. So it's a lot easier for Toronto to go out there at home and dominate a team in the Ottawa
Why?
Senators.
Because Ottawa beat them in every single game this regular season.
But they weren't in the regular season a better hockey team than the LA Kings or the Toronto Maple Leafs. The LA Kings were a better hockey team over 82 games
That's
than the
why I'm not
Edmonton Oilers.
comparing the LA Kings to the Ottawa Senators.
But
I'm
my
comparing
point
the
is, when
Oilers
you're
to the
comparing
Toronto
a,
Maple Leafs
but but
and
there's
the
an
situation.
opponent. But there's an opponent that you have to face, and by doing
I don't
so,
care.
there has. Well, that's part of this, though. Then it's in the end. The Toronto Maple Leafs
irrelevant.
are home taking on an Ottawa Senators team that hasn't been in the playoffs, so it's a lot easier for them to go dominate a game than the Edmonton Oilers going on the road to a team that's better over the regular season and has a great home record and has playoff experience. So you are now, in a sense, part of it is comparing those two opponents.
No, I'm not.
You are. There's
not.
a part of
I
it.
disagree with this.
Go ahead. This is fun.
Well, it's just there's no other way to say this. It's just that there's a comparison.
I'm ready for game one.
Tommy,
Can you
Matthew has never lost an argument in his life. Just ask.
I know. I'm trying.
There's just nothing else to say on that because there's an opponent there. It's not the same.
I'm telling. What I'm saying essentially is I think that Oilers fans freaking out about the LA Kings. I think the Oilers fans are and media. I'll throw us in there too. Are building up the LA Kings to be something that they truly are not. I think the LA Kings are very similar to what they were last year. Yes, Darcy Kemper had an outstanding season. Yes, the LA Kings were very good on home ice. That means absolutely SH, you know what, T right now.
So are you as optimistic? So let's say worst case scenario, Frederick is out. Skinner.
I don't care.
Uh,
I don't care if Frederick's out. I
So
still think the
even-
Oilers are the better team.
So even the Oilers, what they were this last month or so, obviously
That's not the same team we're going to watch tonight.
I don't know, Tommy.
It's really not.
I don't know.
Now the way the game flow goes, and they might annoy you and create heart attack situations for their fan base.
that's a given. Yeah.
Yeah, that will stand. But like, I think this team with McDavid, Draisaitl, they're angry, and when those guys get angry, look out. That is something I noticed about them and their demeanor the last couple of days, watching and listening to them.
But they also have an opponent. What if their opponent gets angry?
Oh,
They've
don't
been
be
angry for
Matthew
3
2.0.
years. Yeah. Yeah.
But there is a part of all of this. And the LA Kings, I'm just surprised that you're just so dismissive of who the LA Kings are.
Because I feel like the Oilers know, and listening to McDavid, especially yesterday, specifically and especially, to me, that's a guy being like, yeah, well, we know the Kings. We know how to beat them. He's like, it. Like, that's what I'm reading between the lines. And I think that's what we're going to witness. Now, they might have a tough go game one. They always ease their way into series.
Yeah.
We've witnessed this over the last few years. But you watch, when they get going, when they figure out Kemper, I think Kemper, I'm going to make a comparison to Kemper in LA, a legitimate Ottawa LA comparison. Ullmark yesterday, what were the Leafs doing to him? Making him go east-west, right? Ottawa gave the Leafs the seams in the defensive zone. If Edmonton can do the same, put pucks in Kemper's feet, get him moving laterally, then Edmonton's going to have success. I think there is a bit of a template there and a similarity. So that's where I will make a comparison between Ottawa and LA and the two big, tall goalies who had good years.
Switch the teams. LA gets Stuart Skinner going east-west. It's going to be a
Just don't let Stu
SHIT
Skinner go
show as well. So
Don't let Stu Skinner go east-west. Avoid that at all costs.
And if that doesn't happen and he goes east-west,
Then you're just going to need McDavid to
Score more goals. Yes.
Supernova. There are release valves here.
I don't know. Fogel's the difference maker. Fogel
I
will win
love
every
this.
series.
The guy that got scratched in the playoffs healthy a few times.
You watched
No,
tonight.
he had a tremendous season, by
You
the way,
watched
and he's a
tonight.
great guy. I'm fired up, guys.
You are
Clearly,
fired up,
you totally
Tommy.
are.
I'm
I'm
just
ready
kind of
for
sitting
playoffs.
back, ready for this. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maddie and
done
I have
for
been
the show.
saying this together and apart, I guess, for months now. But I think we both agree on the fact that they're either going to be out in the first round or they'll go all the way.
I stand by that.
Yeah, I do too.
Scotty knows, jumped in. Maddie, you're not making the point you think you are. If the Oilers blow the Kings in the game one, they'll have an even bigger advantage over the series than Toronto has over the Sens. And I know that, Scotty. Like, to me, this argument's about game one. I do think the series is kind of determined in game one. I think if the Oilers, and I've mentioned this for a couple weeks, if they win game one, I think the LA Kings, it could go into there. Here we go again for the 4 years. The history creeps into the LA Kings quickly. Snap of the finger, it's right in there. But yeah, I think if the Oilers beat the LA Kings, there's no stopping them.
Yeah.
The Golden Knights aren't stopping them. The Avs aren't stopping
There's
them.
more
the Jets aren't
parity, I
stopping
think,
them,
this
the
year than
Stars.
any other year that I could remember in a long time. Like, there isn't really a true runaway team that everybody's like, oh, that's going to be the team. And, you know, this, especially in the West, I find there's a lot of parity this year. You know, Dallas scares me, but without Heiskanen, they're
Ottinger isn't what he was a couple of years ago as far as his playoff performances as well.
yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
Colorado's the one that scares me.
Why?
Yeah, why?
I really like their team. They've rebuilt, during the season. Joe Sakic made a
not
bunch of
great.
change.
Yep.
He was great in the first playoff game. Blackwood's had a really good season this year.
I think that's the
And
weakness still.
sure, but they know how to win with then whatever goaltending. They've done it before, and they've got the players that know how to go win. And look what they did to the Dallas Stars. You want to talk about game one?
Dallas has been shaky. You want to talk about a team that's been shaky?
Yeah.
Dallas.
But still, still got a really good hockey players. They were home, and the Colorado Avalanche went out and got that victory. Blackwood was very good in that game. So I'm not scared of the Jets. I haven't said it. I thought we saw a little bit of playoff hellebuck
Yeah.
game one. So is that going to creep in a little bit more? I actually do think the better first round matchup for the Oilers was always going to be the Golden Knights over the Kings. I think they have a much better chance of beating them than the LA Kings.
I disagree.
You think the Golden Knights give them a harder time?
Yeah. I think the Kings are a rite of passage.
I don't know,
It's
man.
the modern day Winnipeg Jets.
Eventually,
time
you just
Winnipeg
get
thought
sick
they
of
got
losing
good.
and
So?
dig the F in.
Sure. But Dash, when you have a team's number and you could beat them, and there's so many guys from the years where you beat them before, you're like, oh, we know how to beat you guys. We're going to do it again.
Okay, but then the flip side of history then says that at some point the other team gets the victory.
That's right.
How come the Oilers didn't beat the Dallas Stars?
They did.
They did once.
Todd Marchand.
That was a
Marshall's-
fluke, right? That
Okay,
was
so
a
the
fluke.
LA Kings
LA
then could
can
maybe
win
go
with a
get
fluke.
the fluke
in the
here.
5 series after that, how did the Oilers do? They came close.
But we're not talking about 2.
Games.
We're talking about 1.
They won 2 games in 2001, and they went to 6. That was Edmonton's best year. They were 6th place in the Western Conference, and they still got beat pretty good by the Dallas Stars because the Dallas Stars knew no matter how good the Edmonton Oilers got, regardless of the salary cap or no salary cap and salaries at that time, Dallas Stars knew, we got these guys. We're going to beat them. And they did every single time
Except
after
once.
97.
Okay, but there's an after
97
and
was
out.
the shock. That was the shock.
But
And
so now there's still 1 though. That's our point. Is that at some point you get 1. So the Oilers got the 1. That's the thing. It was just you
LA's
need the 1.
not going to get the 1 in this sequence of years.
But if you're going to go with that, while the Oilers have the advantage, you could also then say the LA Kings are going to be pissed off and they have the chance to get their 1. And that the law of averages says that the LA Kings are going to go find their 1 because it happens. And it's hard to beat somebody 4 times.
It's
in a row.
hard to beat
And going
somebody
back
4
to
times
Oilers
in a row.
Stars, Oilers got 1.
It's really
We all
hard to
immediately
beat someone
jumped in
4
and said
times in a
Oilers
row.
got 1.
It's a little bit different this year, Tommy. I know history matters, but it kind of doesn't. It kind of doesn't. It's a new postseason. It's a new fresh sheet of ice
The
with new teams.
mindset is what I'm
Sure,
talking about.
and
is
that means
these
a lot.
Oilers
It
know
does.
how to beat those Kings.
It
Kopitar,
does.
Kempe, Doughty. They know.
And here's the flip side to it, Tommy.
I'm
If-
not having it.
If the Oilers give the LA Kings even a glimpse of hope, the mind is a powerful thing. And now all of a sudden LA starts to believe they can win.
I don't think we're
And
going
I
to see
think that type of thing can ease. I appreciate the fact that you don't agree with it.
turning on me?
No, but it can happen. This isn't against your character, Tommy. This is against your judgment right now. So I feel like it's just we've seen every star on the Edmonton Oilers take an injury of some kind over the last few years, try to tough through it, and not quite be themselves. An 80% Draisaitl is still better than most of the league. An 80% McDavid is still better than most of the league. But when you've got an 80% McDavid, an 80% Draisaitl, no Ekholm, maybe no Kane, maybe no Frederick, maybe that
10% Kapanen
all
maybe,
starts
for being
to add
generous.
up. Kapanen in the lineup, that all starts to add up. And I think it just becomes a little bit different this year. The Kings have built to beat the Oilers. The players they get have all been about beating the Oilers. The system they play is all about beating the Oilers.
They're so focused on beating the Oilers, and they geared up to beat the Oilers. And then Edmonton beat them in 6 in the second year?
But what's their injury history of the past few years for the LA Kings?
Doughty missed the series.
He missed that
Albertson
first
missed
one.
quite a bit.
Didn't Kempe get hurt?
Deneau had
Kempe
some
just
injury
killed the
issues at times.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
This is I do. This is why
It's different
If,
this
if
year.
the Oilers
It's
were
different
fully
this
coming,
Still
year.
hurt them.
sure. But if the Oilers were fully healthy going into this, I would be with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would be.
Agreed.
If the Oilers didn't have what happened over the last month,
Agreed.
I'd be fully with you. And the only thing I'd say is I'm just questioning the universe and the 4 in a row. That would be the only thing I would have, is that the 4 in a row, like, it's hard to do that.
know what
Law of averages. It's the injury fact. And McDavid look great. And there's Draisaitl. 80% Draisaitl is still better than 95% of the NHL. But it's the rest of the guys. It's the rest of the lineup. It's the fact that you don't have your number one defenseman, Matthias Ekholm. Those are the things. And you still got Stuart Skinner in net, that it takes one game. And also, we're talking, and you'll be getting the message in the post-game show saying Calvin Pickard.
Oh, we're
right?
going to get those regardless tonight.
But that's the equalizer to me in this. And then the LA Kings, on the flip side, have the 6th best record in hockey this year.
And again,
you don't fluke your way to that.
3 years of this built-up hatred that just, things, a couple of bounces, and I don't know, I just feel like, 4 times. I still say Oilers in 6.
Pizza
I still
Boy,
say Oilers in 6.
It's like this. The younger brother that always wants to beat up the older brother, but the older brother always beats up the younger brother no matter how big and tough the younger brother tries to get. The older brother has the advantage. This is what's happening between the Oilers and the Kings. The Oilers are the older brother. That no matter whatever LA does, it doesn't matter, because the older brother will always be the tougher one and has the mindset and the edge. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Well, I feel more optimistic now.
Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
here to pump everybody up.
Thank you.
OEG's paying me to do this. I'm just kidding.
You know what?
I think OEG would be paying you to do the opposite.
That's probably true.
Well, Knobloch going.
Well,
they won
yeah,
the
it's the
underdog.
Black Arts.
You thought of it last week too. This team likes being the underdog. They play better when they're
They
underdog.
do. They
Backs against
actually
the wall.
do.
They play better
Yes.
that way.
Yes.
So if anything, you're actually hurting them.
Like,
If they
here's
wouldn't be paying you for that take.
I just hate, I'll come back to this.
Here's a potential hot take. I don't think the Edmonton Oilers of this version will ever sweep a playoff series.
They might not.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. It's just not in their DNA.
They play with their food.
Yep. Well said. I just don't think it's going to happen. And you know what I'm really sick and tired of? This narrative of they'll flip a switch. Like, I don't think I've listened to a sports show, a radio show, anywhere, heard anything over this weekend when they talk about the Oilers. First thing, are they going to flip the switch? Where's the switch? Like, what is the, you don't just step out into playoff hockey and all of a sudden have perfect chemistry, have everything. Like, sure, you can work as hard as you want and give your best. Other teams can still fluke wins. Other teams are also giving their hardest. It's like
officiating.
Yeah, that matters as well.
California officiating, yeah.
Yeah, I think about it like this, right? Like,
It's always weird. Those games in LA, there's always some sort of weird officiating call. I'm sorry.
no, that's all right. Like when you get yourself out of shape, right? It's these like minuscule bad habits. You just, I didn't exercise for this week and then another week and then I ate crappy food. In order to get yourself back in shape, it's you need to reverse that. It's these baby steps to get yourself back into shape. And that's developing good habits. And developing good habits in hockey is really important. You don't just flip this switch, snap your finger, and everybody's got perfect chemistry. All the line mates are humming. Trent Fredericks played 6 seconds with this team, and he's all of a sudden just going to fit right in. And I think it's baloney. Like, I think it's the team needs their back up against the wall, and it won't be until they have their back up against the wall that we're going to find out what this version of the Oilers is all about.
I think there's certain players that can flip a switch.
Sure.
McDavid and Leon.
Not a team, though,
those two.
Matthew.
No, the whole team. Yeah, I agree with. I'll agree with that. But they do carry the team. So how much could they do? And the one point I'll go with McDavid at the very least is like he wasn't exactly. There was little. It wasn't the best few games prior to Four Nations. They went to Four Nations and immediately saw the McDavid again. Like he couldn't flip that switch. He is just that incredible. You're right. I'll agree. Like the whole team. But when it comes to McDavid and Leon, those two can flip a switch.
Yep.
Those two could come right from.
Yeah.
They could drop into a Game 7 of Stanley Cup final and they'll match anyone else that may have played an entire series.
I want to read this text from Smudge. Text us 780-218-9999, the Paris Jewelers inbox. Smudge says, is this Edmonton sports talk or LA sports talk? Only guy who seems to think the Oilers are good at all is Tommy. Signed, Smudge. Thank you, Smudge.
I did say Oilers in 6. I'm just saying it's Oilers in 6 with some question marks.
I think it's just being fair for some of us in terms of analyzing the series. It's we're Edmonton sports talk, but it's not Oilers sports talk. It's not in a sense of we're going to all be Oiler homers. We want to evaluate series in our eyes objectively. Tommy thinks objectively to him, the Oilers are just a much better hockey team.
The show's called The Hangout, not why is the Oilers
straight
gonna
up
win?
that the LA Kings are going to pose a little more threat. As Pizza Boy just said, he believes in the Oilers. Just has a little bit worse. There's just, I guess, 3 in a sense different objective opinions in that, and that's sports analysis. Again, we're not all paid by OEG. None of us are paid by OEG. That's what, but we're not. This isn't paid by OEG or something to just talk Oilers and pump up the Oilers and tell you how great the Oilers are and be state-run media for that. Oilers TV.
It would probably be a pretty boring show if we all just sat here and agreed with each other. So
and said that the Oilers were just the greatest thing ever, and they're just.
You can get that content on Oilers Live Wednesday nights on Heavy Hockey.
Oh, hey, I like this one. Out of California, first-time texter. Oh no, the big bad Oilers. Ken. Thank you, Ken. Thank you for finding us here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Appreciate it.
Are you an actual Kings fan, Ken? Are you just going around searching for Oilers?
909
No, I know. I'm just fascinated by that.
It did happen.
That's
last
a lot
year.
of sarcasm and stuff. I don't expect that from too many American markets. Like Vancouver understands, right?
Last year.
America, and so it always just gives me a smile that there are those fans though that might go search that stuff out.
I wish I had enough time in my day to go troll Kings fans.
Yes.
That would
Do
be
it.
That would be
Apologies,
fantastic.
Ken. I just don't know where you would troll Kings fans.
Oh, hey, that's a good hockey market.
It is, but do they have any like YouTube chats that you're gonna go troll in? Do they have a post game show that you can call in?
we were in
Probably.
Chicago in January for the Oilers game there, and for 4 days I didn't see one Blackhawks jersey anywhere until we went to the game. But it was like you wouldn't even know they had a hockey team, and that's Chicago.
It's
They say the best hockey city in America, but we were in different spots in Chicago, and I didn't see a Blackhawks cap, a jersey, a jacket, nothing until you get to the arena.
You know what? That's a good point, Pizza Boy. That is a franchise in shame right now. And
That could be part of it.
when they were winning and things were good, there was no sexual assault or anything like that. That was a Hawks town. Like there was Hawks stuff everywhere, and that you want to talk about darkness.
Yeah,
and that happened quickly. So I'm not surprised. And how was Chicago, by the way?
It was great.
Great
It was
city.
great. Yeah,
So fun.
Awesome.
It's
town.
underrated.
Yeah.
The LA Kings post game. It's called Kings Talk. It's hosted by Jesse Cohen and can be found on ESPN LA Kings Radio.
There
So
you
they
go.
do have one.
Yeah.
So I guess Oiler fans could go troll the LA Kings in that. Reed Wilkins in the nasty chat. Quote unquote, flipping the switch is a product of experience. Oilers have it.
We've had Jesse on Oilers Live a couple of times in the last few years to come and do our show. He suggested that, what was it? McDavid play defense, Nurse play forward. So yeah, he had some interesting opinions. Let's just say that.
I'll say the Oilers experiences some of that.
It was something.
I will argue, Wallman doesn't have that experience.
No.
But Colson doesn't have that experience. You could go with Josh Brown doesn't have that experience. There's some of those guys that don't have that experience. Jeff Skinner doesn't have that experience. So to flipping the switch, it's a product of experience. Well, some Oilers have it, but there's a few Oilers. There's a turnover from last year to this year.
Perry's
guys don't
experience
get
is
that
losing in the finals every year.
So I'll book the Oilers
Except
in the
for
second final.
2007, of course. Yeah. I like this text. I'm going to read it. New texter. Welcome. So why wasn't the first year the one? The second year, the one. The third year, the one. Literally any year can be the one. Any game can be the one. Just because something can happen doesn't mean it will. That's not an argument. Tommy G is right, as always. Thank you.
God, you text yourself that.
I did
That's
not.
well, if it says some number I don't know, and it's
not.
no,
That's a great text.
It's just one of those. I do believe in law of averages and things like that, and there's no sports rationale fully behind it, but it's just one of those things. Again, we could point to Oilers starts. The Oilers actually got one. How often does it happen that you meet a team so many times and you don't here's one in the Oilers' favor. The Minnesota Twins have met the New York Yankees many times in the playoffs, and the Twins have not got a series against the New York Yankees. Now, it's not in a row, but there's one where I'll give it to the Oilers side, but my mind would go to they're due then at some point. I do believe in that karma universe type stuff to a degree.
Yeah.
And again, there's no sports rationale behind it. I know that.
You guys are going to like this one. Tommy sounds like the super fans on the old SNL sketch. Da Bears. Da Bears.
Da Bears.
45-10. Oilers win easily in 5 games. Oilers will let the Kings have an extra home game to be nice. Tommy should be happy that he will have his evenings off after 2 weeks. Well played.
Although he didn't say Oilers in 5, he said Oilers in 6, which that just to me doesn't work.
Do you think the Bears could win if it was a mini Ditka?
Bears.
If it was a what?
Mini Ditka?
Mini Ditka.
33-12 with Mini Ditka.
Oh, great skit.
Great skit.
I don't know that skit.
You don't know Da Bears?
I know.
the
I
skit.
know.
I don't
the
know
saying.
the details of it, but I remember the skit.
Yeah. And Chris Farley, would he always have the heart attack and they'd have to like pound his chest?
Yeah.
It was Mike Myers, Chris Farley. Did they have George Wendt in there at one
Yeah,
point?
I think so.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I could never remember the one guy with the mustache. It wasn't Kevin Nealon. Anyway, it was an ongoing skit, recurring skit. That was pretty funny.
I've heard of the thing. Da Bears, like saying
Da
Da Bears.
Bears.
So that must be where it comes from. But I don't know of the skit.
It's a good time.
That was a good time.
Da Bears aren't going to get much better in my mind.
The Oilers aren't going to get far either.
Or they're going to win it all. That's where you and I have come.
But would the Oilers win if it was Mini McDavid? Tommy?
Yeah, of course. In a landslide.
Sorry. I just grabbed a sip of the worst time there. This is the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada Storage experts more than 2 decades helping Canadians through life's transition. Canadian storage provider Sentinel.ca. Pick your deals, limited units. That goes until April 30th. That includes 50% off 12 weeks on some units, 75% off 8 weeks on some units, and 100% off 4 weeks on select units. Sentinel.ca for more information. By the way, the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show tonight, live from Boston Pizza on 170th Street, Westgate, across from West Edmonton Mall, 6:30. As Tommy and Herna is back.
Yep.
You two and Cass will get everyone set for game one between the Oilers and the Kings. The Reed Wilkins show coming up from 3 until 6:30 today as Reed Wilkins and Jay Milne and Zach to come. We'll go an extra 30 minutes. We do got EST Afternoons. We do got Oil Stream. We do got Lock Shop, all to come here on Edmonton Sports Talk, as well as we've got you covered from 6 until 8. And then the post-game show as well, the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Later tonight as well, once the Edmonton Oilers just dominate the LA Kings, and it's not even close.
I didn't say that it wasn't going to be close. I'm just going to say
That's exactly,
No,
exactly what
hang on.
they're going to make
in the
the do.
game. In the game.
Okay.
Tommy did say they're going to give us a heart attack in the process.
Yes.
All right.
So,
Okay. Game
I'm
one.
saying
All
in
right.
the series they will.
Okay. That's fair.
Look, he's tracking back.
No, he's right.
his
He did
processor
bring up.
is
You did say
computing.
that there'd be a hard. But so if the Oilers have a tough one tonight, and then
I even said they might lose tonight.
But then the rest
of the
is
series-
fine.
Yes.
So then games 2, 3, 4, 5, most of them are
Run
just
'em
dominating.
There you go.
It's not even close.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Part of me
Celebration.
is like just stirring it up because I'm excited. It's game one. I do believe what I'm saying, but it is nice to see how fired up people are getting and telling me how ridiculous
Part of me
I'm
is
okay.
I'm like uber realistic this year because I've like had to eat crow the last 3 years as I thought the Oilers were going to win a cup.
Hello. That's for you.
What?
That's
What? Come
socially
on.
acceptable breakfast pizzas.
Socially.
I think we got an LA Kings fan in our chat.
Yes.
Kusi in the
All
nasty
right,
chat.
welcome.
Go Kings, go with the crown,
Hey,
and then another crown. So we've got an LA Kings fan in here.
I love it.
To any Oiler fans that maybe want to troll LA at any point, be respectful about it. I will say that.
Yeah.
You mock the team, you mock the franchise, that stuff. You don't go after personalities and things like that.
Yeah.
I remember there was Vancouver Canucks fans that were just the worst.
Yeah.
Last year, and
That was bad karma.
Some
You
of
wanna
the-
talk about karma.
oh yeah, well, and they just like they'd go into fentanyl use and things. It's like, come on, what are we doing
What
here?
is this?
Pizza
What do we
Boy
got
doesn't
here?
come empty-handed.
Pizza Boy got like these pizza bake deliveries.
Would you like to explain what you ordered us?
Yeah, Pizza Boy. Thank you.
Put them there for you.
So he makes sure he grabs whatever he wants. And then
No, I'm good for now.
Just kidding.
Make sure you get yours.
The first one off the
So this is a 3 cheese pita bake.
Oh,
The
that
Pizza
looks-
Boy's not going to come empty-handed. My pizza place isn't in Edmonton, so I couldn't bring in my pizza. But this is a pizza you can have for breakfast and not feel like you're cheating. So
I love it.
pita bake in the north side. It's a good
Awesome.
place.
it's very
North
kind
side.
of you to bring in. By the way, I forgot to do this a little bit earlier. This is Hangout Headlines brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club. From premier golf facilities to the corporate branded products, the Ranch, your all-in-one tournament host, proud hosts to over 180 tournaments each year, including the EST Golf Classic. They're here to help you execute all your tournament ideas. Book your tournament today. Visit ranchgolf.com. Yeah, that actually smells amazing right now.
Yeah, it does.
I'll get into it after.
I'll dive in right now.
You could dive right into
People are
it
like,
right
good,
now.
you'll shut up finally, Tom. Yes.
Well, then they probably would rather have me eat this right now.
No,
You're
no.
defending the Oilers.
I'm the one
so
that's super Oiler today.
you've got.
Dash.
Yeah. I don't give
You
a-
jump in there, too.
10-year-old me would love me right now.
What is this?
Delicious.
Buster TN, watch, I'm Tennessee, I think. I can eat any pizza for breakfast and not feel cheated.
I've done it. I've done it. I just,
That is some of the best. What do we think? When do the Oilers take to the ice at noon, I think? 11 o'clock Pacific, noon. So we'll find out more about what's going on, because what is the update
Lines
from
We
yesterday?
need lines.
I want to make sure I have this properly. I'm going to go Daniel Nugent.
Who's on
Bowman had some
McDavid's
stuff.
wing?
Yeah, from Chris Knobloch yesterday. For those that may have missed it yesterday, Ekholm, Kane, Stetcher are all out for game one. Frederick's day-to-day is a possibility for game one. Kulak also in Canmore. Wife was due to have their second child, but he's flying back. So travel, we'll just see TBD brah for Kulak. But I think the Oilers are expecting Kulak there. I would assume that there's probably some sort of PJ or something, maybe.
is there any
ready for him.
info out there on Stetcher's injury and how long they expect him to be out? I know this time of year it's all undisclosed day to day.
I haven't
But
heard anything.
you know.
I also really like that they practiced power play 2 yesterday.
That's good.
As long as McDavid and Draisaitl are around, there is still power play 2.
No.
I wonder if they practiced it for 8 seconds to keep it realistic. 8 seconds. Let's see what you could do.
You go over the boards, score a goal quickly. If you can't, we try this again. Whistle, do it over. For those that maybe want to know PP2, Nurse, Wallman, Skinner, Brown, Perry. And Perry was also getting a little bit of work on PP1.
Skinner, Brown, Perry.
Didn't matter. It doesn't matter. D pairings had Nurse, Bouchard, Wallman, Emberson, Deneen, Brown. What'd you guys make of the Emberson deal? You're still biting in.
It depends. I don't like it. Which one are you getting? Because I feel like he was a lot stronger earlier on in the year. 1.3, I think, especially with the way that the cap is going, I think it's a safe deal, even if he, tops out as a number 6 or something. But I still think they need to kind of find one more guy. But yeah, I think it's he showed what he could be at his best, and I think he's gonna find a regular spot in the playoffs as well. I think Stetcher, I liked what I seen from Stetcher, but I do think that Emberson is kind of hopefully find his game and be a key part of at least maybe not play 20 minutes or anything. But no, I like it. I think it's a fair number.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Well said.
Yeah, exactly. Well said. Penalty killing is important. I would add to that. So nice to get him, doing that a little bit more often now. And yeah, I think we're paying him like a bottom 3 or bottom 2 defenseman.
Which he is.
If he plays that way, then great. If he plays above that, then better.
I like that more than the Klingberg deal. Yeah.
Perfect.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good timing. Nice demo.
Yeah.
That Klingberg signing was completely unnecessary.
It's a scratch ticket like any other, right? I think if it works out, it works out. But
I feel like they did a lot of that recently. It's like, I don't know how much of it is scouting and how much of it is just like, let's go get a guy. See. But it's
it's putting dice in your hand, shaking them and throwing them. That's basically what they're doing.
Pizza Boy, aka Mo, makes a great point. Scouting, checking things out, doing your homework,
due diligence.
There was some discussion last week in the press box about maybe that wasn't done to its fullest potential.
That's exactly what I mean. It's just like,
it was suggested
this
to
guy
me,
is
and I was
out
like,
there.
yeah. Yep.
And it seems like it's a lot of them too. Like it's not just, like how much did they scout cap it in, or were they just like, he's fast, let's bring him in and I'll just, and everybody's sick of talking about Broberg and Holloway, but every time you go and get these lottery tickets, like you said, it's like, well, you had a lottery ticket that you owned and you went and you gave it away. And
that is true.
Yeah, they're scratching lottery tickets because they screwed up on their RFAs is really what it comes down to. I still don't hate the move. Okay, Klingberg didn't work out. I mean, if it did work out, we'd all be singing the praises. So it just cost him whatever it cost you to pay him. It's not hurting our cap. It's not hurting anything else. So whatever.
It did stop you from maybe going and getting somebody with two good knees.
We don't, but that's the thing. We don't
hips.
have anything to trade. Like, I think that's why we were forced to go and get scratch tickets, because we don't have any assets. If you can't, like, asset management's important, but if you don't have assets to manage, then it really doesn't matter.
You know what? They will have assets to move next year. They came out of Europe and they're all obscure. Restocking the shelves.
I think that actually rhymed. Good job.
Thank you.
4 games in the NHL playoffs tonight. Canadians, Washington, game 1. You got 2 game 2s. You got Blues, Jets, Avs, Stars, then Oilers, Kings. That game, ESPN 2 down south. Oh, it's all ESPN today. There's a doubleheader on ESPN, doubleheader on ESPN 2. It's
Oh, really?
Canadians, Caps, Avs, Stars on ESPN, Blues, Jets, Oilers, Kings on ESPN 2. Here in Edmonton, it's Sportsnet for Oilers, Kings. Jets, Blues is CBC, but we are on Sportsnet here in Edmonton. So if you're not heading to BP's Westgate and you're looking what channel, it will be on Sportsnet. And I'll be intrigued to see what how Moss Pit looks tonight.
I love that we're getting Jack Michaels too.
Jack, Louis.
Yep.
Gene.
Gene.
Don't expect that for the whole playoffs. Just throw that out there, depending on what happens with the Leafs. Once the Leafs are out, CC and Simpson will come to the Edmonton Oilers. If they're still
Once the boo is over.
And we'll see what happens with those Toronto Maple Leafs. Good game 1. Good game 1.
Yeah. How many power plays did they get in that game? They had a few, right? The Leafs?
There's a lot of penalties.
Well,
I don't know.
yeah.
I think a couple of them might have been coincidental, but yeah, maybe 5 or 6.
Like that.
Marner looked like he figured out how to play in the playoffs, at least for one day.
All you needed to do was play with McDavid for a 4 Nations to figure that out.
We'll come up.
He'll come sign here in the offseason.
Great. Start the Marner plane.
They say the Leafs had 3 goals on 6 opportunities.
See, like if that's something that
Sens were 0 for 2.
8 power plays. That could feed to the Oilers' advantage. If there's 8 power plays in the game tonight, the Oilers are going to win this game.
Total penalties, 15 for the Sens, 9 for the Leafs.
Is that right, eh?
Sens got a little bit undisciplined at one point.
And it generally kind of has loose whistles for the first few games, and then things starting to tighten up as it goes on, I feel. But if there's 8 power plays tonight, then the Kings are in trouble.
Because their PK was not strong, but their power play was good. And that's the other thing too. If you want to look at the Kings, their road record was bad this year. They're under 500. They're 16-19. And
But they don't need to win a road game.
Home ice advantage might come back and burn them.
Yeah,
if there was ever a time.
But the flip side to that, and Big Uke brought this up a couple weeks ago, the Oilers don't have to go win 2, 3, 4 of them in LA. You just need 1.
True.
As great as the LA Kings home record is, you just need 1.
Yeah.
That's it. And you pull it back home ice and stuff like that. But yeah, in theory, like the LA Kings, in theory, they actually don't have to win a road game, so it doesn't matter to them in that sense. Is that likely to happen? No. I don't see how both teams like the Oilers will drop a game at home. The Kings will drop a game at home.
Crazy to think the Kings lost 4 games at home all year, and to beat them in 7, you'd have to beat them 4 times in the playoffs in 1 round.
don't even think about it.
Tommy's got the Oilers in 4.
3, by the way. Edmonton in 6. But I know I'm getting people stirred up, and I'm doing it on purpose. But
they lost 10 times at home this year overall.
Yeah.
6 in regulation, 4 were in overtime, but
and the road
those
record,
would be lost. The road record is below 500.
Is that what it was? It was 6 at the end of it?
31, 6, and 4. I don't know. Did they lost to the Flames in the last game of the season?
Must have been a few in the last few weeks. So I remember it wasn't long ago that they had only 3 losses at home. So
they lost 5-1 to the Flames in the last game of the season. Doesn't really count.
Yeah, sure.
You can argue. They did lose to the Kraken on April 7th, 2-1 at home. So there was 2 of them, more recent ones for that. And then how many overtime? Well, I don't know how those overtime games were played, like which ones went to shootout, which went to overtime, but they did lose 10 times.
So if you look at April, the Kings record at home is like 500.
In April? No, it's worse. I'm in the month of April. They play, no, you're right. They had 2 home wins, 3 home wins, 4 home wins. Nope, it's above. 4-2.
4-2.
Because, they beat the Oilers at home. They beat the Jets at home. They beat the Ducks at home, and they beat the Avs at home. But then they lost to the Flames and they lost to the Kraken.
Well, if momentum means anything.
I'll be intrigued by the officiating, though, in this.
Yeah, for sure. It could be the series.
Well, it's Okay, but what do you guys make of the Oilers 5-on-5 play? Like
Well, again, we haven't seen this team together almost all year, so I feel like I think if they win the series, it's going to be when they win the series, because I said Oilers in 6. I mean, so much of that is going to be just Draisaitl and McDavid being Draisaitl and McDavid. Their power play is gonna be strong, but 5-on-5, like, we don't know who's going to be playing with who. We don't know who's going to be in, who's going to be out, who's going to come in and then be out again. So I still think Oilers in 6, but I think a lot of it is going to be special teams and having the 2 best players in the universe.
Can I answer your question with a question?
True.
Is 29 or 97 on the ice during this 5-on-5 that you speak of?
Well, they'll be on there for 50% of the time.
That 5-on-5 play will be excellent. The rest of it,
Well, but how do you matching up the Oilers and the Kings lines? Let's go line by line and who's got the advantage, because this might really bode well for Tommy and Mo's points in all of this. Let me pull up lines so I could look at both.
we got a
of them.
better fourth line.
How long before they try to put Draisaitl and McDavid back together?
Oh,
The
first
question
period.
will be, what's
After
the
the
score in
first
the
LA
game?
goal?
Well, it's the score in the game. That's what it comes down to. If the Oilers are down 2-0 in the second period, is anyone else going to be shocked if those 2 are together?
Of course not.
If the Oilers
They've done it every series.
If it's 1-1 in the third, could we see that? Maybe. It depends how the game plays out.
Yeah, not
but
a maybe, yes.
I don't know. If things are rolling nicely, they might continue it here. But that's the one thing I'll say. Beauty of hockey is you could do that for a couple of lines and then go back to something else. Okay, so I'm gonna just use what I have here. What is that for? Oh, he's gonna be playing.
It's going to be in a blender, though.
That's stupid.
Knobloch's going to have the finger on the button
Well,
okay.
of the blender all
wanna-
series.
yeah, read
Okay,
that.
yeah,
and
I'll
you're
go
right.
line by
have-
line. I'll let you
follow-
go.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah,
Or do you
yeah.
Okay. Just the blender thing, and then getting to
We'll
what
go
we
line by
have
line and stuff.
temporarily as the Lions before we see the team on the ice this morning. Leon was funny when he talked going into the playoffs, because they were in San Jose for a few days. They were asking him about his line mates, and he's just like, it doesn't really matter. He's like, we haven't really had set lines all year. Like, I'm paraphrasing what he said. He's like, I'm used to playing with anybody. It changed every game, in game, all the time. And I was like, finally, thank you. One of the players just saying, like, we don't
That's
care.
why I feel like, given how uncertain and how much of a blender it's been all year, I was surprised to see them take Skinner off of McDavid's line, just because at least you have those 2 lines.
Yeah, a little bit.
You put Draisaitl with the guys that he's been playing with all year, and then you've seen what McDavid did with Skinner and Brown, albeit a small sample size, but at least you got your top 6,
Mm-hmm.
and then you put the other pieces in place. Excuse me. But I was surprised to see them drop Skinner down again. Well, I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was.
Well, we'll see at the skate today, but
Yes. So this is what we have, what we believe at this moment. McDavid, Hyman, Brown versus Kopitar, Kuzmenko, and Kempe.
Both lines are very
Yeah.
good. I don't know who to give the advantage to. You have the best
That-
player in the world versus 2 great players in Kempe and Kopitar, and a guy who's caught fire in Kuzmenko. You can make the case that Connor Brown has been playing good lately, and Zach Hyman, if he turns into vintage Zach Hyman, A-okay. Like, I don't know.
I think Kuzmenko and Brown probably cancel each other out. The 2 other wingers cancel each other out, and McDavid's better than Kopitar.
You got Byfield, Fiala, and Lafreniere. And the Oilers, Draisaitl, Pujols, and Arvidsson. But
Yeah, Draisaitl is Draisaitl. I don't know.
I would think Kopitar
I
goes
think
up
Mo's
against
right.
Draisaitl. Don't you?
Maybe, but I would still take Edmonton's top 2 centers over LA's top 2
100%.
centers
I'm just trying to think
every day of the
what
week.
Hiller might do. I feel like Kopitar, you'll see him more with
Remember when Deneau, the first year or 2, was
That's what I
supposed
was-
to be in McDavid's hip pocket?
Well,
that's
that's
kind of faded away.
Well, I'm wondering if that's what we'll also still see, though. Because, well, you got Deneau, Fogle, Moore. With LA, are we going to see him go up against McDavid? That line go up against
I could see
McDavid?
Moore get elevated. I think he is a tremendous
Absolutely.
hockey player.
So that line actually,
That's a good line, though.
their
Moore's
third
ready
line
to take that team over 2 years ago.
goes
In fact,
against
Jesse
McDavid.
on our show was talking about
Yeah.
that, how
He's
he's the new guard.
Because then it's Byfield, Fiala, Lafreniere going up against, I would say, Nuge, Skinner, Kapanen.
Yeah.
Ugh, is right. He's that guy that goes a million miles an hour
Yeah.
and looks good doing it, but does nothing ultimately. And I'll let you guys in on a little secret. This should come as no surprise. The coaching staff loves Kapanen for some reason.
Really?
Yes. It was echoed to me again last week. Like, they just love him.
Well,
And it's like, why? What does he do?
Like his play or him?
Him, his play, the style.
So we're gonna probably see at some point in this series Skinner get pulled out of the lineup before Kapanen, and that just
I hope
blows
you're
my
wrong,
mind.
but maybe.
really?
I hope
that's what you're
that's
saying.
not the case.
Well, the flip
You
side
don't-
though is
you
let's
think
say,
that'll happen?
okay, let's say Frederick's good to go tonight. Who's coming out of the lineup?
Kapanen.
Who are you? That's who you want.
No,
Who do
that's
you
what makes
think-
sense.
Sure, but based off what you've seen from the others this year, what do you think Knobloch will do?
Take Kapanen out. I think that's the
Skinner's
right.
been
even
on the
though they
top
know.
Is that what you
line.
think
He's been
Knobloch will do?
scoring.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I
agree
also
with
think
Tommy.
like I think you have to play Skinner in game one. I think just
You gotta
he's
find out
signed
what
here.
he's
And that's
made
exactly
out
it. And
I
he
feel
might
like
be that bull in a ready
China
to
shop.
yes. And it's maybe he goes off and maybe he's just even better this amazing player of playoffs who's just never seen it before. I think you need to know worse if you pull him in game one, his
Totally.
confidence might get shaken that if, when you go to him, you might not get he might just be like,
Yeah, I think the whole city agrees with you. I don't know. Knobloch sometimes makes me nervous with the way that he
Yeah.
uses him.
Yeah,
but-
I agree.
He was pushing all the right buttons, and like we've seen it a lot on pre and post game. People bringing that up about Knobloch, but until about right before the Four Nations face off, there was a couple of times where he could have used the timeout and didn't. He waited for the TV timeout.
He hates using time.
I know. It's like, you get a new one every game, right?
they don't roll over. Right?
Yeah.
They don't.
Anyway,
It's like accrued holidays, but I'll get 4 in game 1 of the playoffs.
Right.
every 2 weeks I only get one. No, you get one per game. Oh, I thought it was every 2 weeks. It's pay period.
News to me.
But just anyway, to finish that point, at least we on the pre and post didn't start to see that sentiment questioning Knobloch until right before Four Nations.
We had that one game. I remember he had that back check that was just like everyone was like, "Whoa!" I don't remember what game it was, but I think it was in that time period. But he came back and made a nice defensive play, and we're like, "There we go!" Like he did it. He did what you want. Now keep him in the lineup.
And yeah, so but because there was even people saying like Knobloch deserves to be Coach of the Year candidate, Jack Adams, and then there was a flip, and there was people starting to be like, "What is this guy doing?" And it has been an air of doubt around Knobloch since about what that would have been like late January.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because people are like, this guy's not. There were people saying to fire him. Now that was extreme and ridiculous.
That was at the start of the year.
Yeah, and but there was this. Let's call it a grace period where it's like, this guy's the best and this and that.
Well, last year when he took over, he didn't really get anything wrong.
No,
He's also not one of those coaches that doesn't like to make moves. Like he got it right the entire Vancouver series. He pulled Skinner, and then when he went back to Skinner, like everything he did last year for the most part was
Worked out.
dead on.
Came up roses. Yeah.
Yes, and this year I think there's more. Oof, maybe that one didn't work.
Oh,
as
he's
much.
not perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's not worth firing.
But I'm glad
No.
Mo brought that up because that
He will
just
get fired,
reminds me of when that thought from fans started to change and shift to like,
Yeah.
If history
know.
repeats itself, Knobloch does not finish 2025 as the Edmonton Oilers head coach.
Go into coaching.
That's the history of it.
I don't think if we lose in the first round, I don't think he starts next season.
That's what I was gonna say with coaching.
Straight
With-
to Quenneville.
With them switching coaches so often, do you think they could ever have a coach that's like a 6-7 year coach, or do you feel like they're always like everybody on that team is used to having a new coach every 1-2 year, 2.5 years?
Doesn't matter what they're used
Think
to.
about Nuge.
Yeah.
Do you think they could ever get to the point where they can,
Nope.
still listen to the same guy for?
Nope.
The only reason
It's not our DNA.
but it's also not hockey anymore.
that's true.
It's not how this sport works.
Yeah, that's true.
It's if you go since
John
I think
Cooper.
if you 2022 till now, the last
Thanks,
3 years, the majority of teams, and by
Have
majority I
turned
mean
over
like
their coaches.
25 teams or something like
Yeah.
that, have made a coaching change.
Knobloch's like the 15th
Yeah.
longest tenured coach in the
Is
league.
he really?
Great.
He's been here a
Yeah.
year and a half for 2 years
Wow.
now.
It's you have to, there's I think only going to be select coaches, whoever, like John Cooper is that example. Like
Mike Sullivan.
you have John Cooper.
Sullivan, yeah.
I can't believe he's not. There's no change even happening there again.
He just signed a new contract. Not that that matters really anymore.
No.
But it's just one of those where unless you have that coach where you go, there honestly isn't really anyone better. There's just the constant change. So right now, John Cooper is the longest in 2013. Mike Sullivan was hired in 2015.
Yep.
So he's going to be in December 10 years. Bednar was 2016. Rob Brendamore was 2018. Martin St. Louis, 2022. So I was at the 28 teams have changed coaches from February 9th to today of 2022. So in 3 years and 2.5 months, every team but 4 have made at least one coaching change. It's just wild.
I read somewhere recently that including assistant coaches, Nuges had 30 some coaches or something.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, well,
Got to be a record.
he started in Tom Rennie's era. Ralph Kruger, Dallas Aikens, Todd Nelson, Craig McTavish,
Hitch.
Hitchcock, McClellan, Tippett, Woodcroft, and now Knobloch. That's 10 head coaches.
Heads.
Yeah, and it was weird between Aikens and Aikens and
Nelson.
Nelly.
Yeah.
Mac T was on the bench for a few of them.
Right,
and some of those
right.
games, technically, he was the head coach.
Right.
I remember they had to like go to the league and be like, "Hey, those aren't Todd Nelson's official." Mac T was actually the head coach, and there was like this whole to do about like coaching record and stuff like that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was an interesting conversation for sure.
Chris Knobloch is the 13th most tenured coach in the National Hockey League.
That is nuts.
Patrick Waugh is 15.
He just got hired.
Right? Jim Hiller, actually, because they go from interim time, is 60.
He took over last year.
Yeah. And he's middle. He's dead middle. Jim Hiller.
It's insane.
Like,
He just got hired last week. Wow.
yeah. No, Patrick Waugh, like, I just seeing where he is.
That's nuts.
But yeah, Chris Knobloch is now he's in the top half of tenured coaches. How soon could he pass somebody? I'm just trying to think. Well, Andrew Burnett, depending how next year goes, he might go. Knobloch could pass him. Rick Tocchet might be gone in the next little bit. He could pass him. It's insane. But so to your question, like hockey just dictates that it doesn't happen even. So it doesn't even matter if the players, it's just no player in hockey gets coaches for a long period of time. But yeah, again, history says that Knobloch has till the end of this year.
Yeah.
Start packing and all that. It's messed up. Steve, I honestly thought Chris Knobloch was brought in because of McDavid. He coached him years ago. That was just an easy, like, it looked that way.
I think the timing of bringing in Jackson and bringing in Knobloch, and it made the narrative easy that it was, McDavid bringing in who we wanted to bring in.
Knobloch is very much Jackson's guy.
Yes.
But you're right. I thought the same thing too. But even Chris, when he was asked about it, he's like, I don't know if I'm really Connor's guy.
Yeah.
I think he's Bob Stauffer's guy.
Yep. Well, do you know that they both went to the same university?
Apparently.
Bob just does some great things.
I have a Chris Knobloch story after you.
Portions of this hour of the EST Hangout, they're brought to you by the High Product Marketing, official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Stock, promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out at highproductmarketing.com. Speaking of our products, Bob Stauffer does have EST socks. Has he ever worn them? I don't know, but Gager did gift them to him as a Christmas gift. So, you know what you could do? Anyone, if you want, just tweet Bob. How are the EST socks?
Comfy as hell.
I'll do it right now.
Okay, just the Knobloch.
Pizza Boy Dash, Matt, Tommy with you here on the EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage. Sorry.
Knobloch Stauffer connection. And listen, Knobloch's a great guy. Bob's a good friend
Bob's
of
a
mine.
good guy too.
We worked together for a long time. So, but this story, this is the 2015 draft in Florida, the Connor year.
Mm-hmm.
And we had just gotten approval to finally start getting Oilers TV gear. Because I didn't like, because like our camera guys would go into other teams' locker rooms wearing Oilers gear. Thought that was bad etiquette. So my boss agreed with me, and we finally got the go ahead to get some Oilers TV gear. So we got like cool jackets, some Under Armour golf shirts. We got an orange one and a blue one. And we're going to debut them at the draft in Florida. So I get everybody's sizes, take care of it. They come in, Elite took care of us. Big thanks to Gord Shamahorn over there. And so I'm dishing out the blue and the orange golf shirts. And I'm talking screaming orange, nuclear orange. I'm like, let's go bright. And these were nice golf shirts. Anyway, we get down there. We're like, okay, everybody bring both golf shirts, right? We want to shoot using both of them. Stoff
Forgot the orange one.
goes, no, he didn't. Gets even better. Stoff goes, go to our first panel shoot. He's like, I'm only wearing this blue one. And I'm like, why? You don't like the orange one? No, makes me look fat. I don't like the color. And he's like, matter of fact, I already gave it to Chris Knobloch. He needed a golf shirt, so I gave him my golf shirt.
Stoff and Knobloch are the same size now.
and then so we shoot something and we're going back to the hotel and Bob is meeting up with Chris, probably to go for dinner or something. And there he is wearing this bright orange Oilers TV golf shirt. And Bob's like, Tom, this is Chris Knobloch. Nice. And I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. He's like, head coach of the Erie Otters. I'm like, cool. Very nice to meet you. Nice golf shirt.
Did I?
So Chris Knobloch has a screaming orange neon Oilers TV golf shirt somewhere. He probably gave it away because Stoff didn't want it.
And he was wearing it though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because he needed a fresh golf shirt.
How big did it look on him?
He was swimming in it.
Yeah, okay.
Because he's like a fit guy, right? But he's
Yeah.
really tall, and
Yeah.
it was a double XL. And yeah, Bob, he's like, I didn't like it. Okay, you're not hurting my feelings, but
Bomb crushed. Oh no. This is what I'm so
sucks.
devastated.
yeah,
How dare you?
I'm just trying to help. Anyway,
Love it.
I like your Bob stories.
Me too. Got any more?
I've got a friggin' tickle trunk full of them.
Just to confirm, Oilers did stay out. I know you sent the text. They stayed out in California.
Yeah,
They didn't come back.
Oh, yeah, just to clarify, I know because
okay.
people are getting all excited about that. I got lumped into a bunch of Twitter conversations that I was not interested in. They were going to come back because they found out if it was on Monday, they were going to come back for a day and a half and then fly to LA. And then ultimately, right before in between morning skate and that game in San Jose, they said, screw it. We're actually just going to stay in San Jose, then fly to LA after a couple days. So the plan was to come home, and then they switched it on the fly and said, we're going to just stay in San Jose, keep it low key instead of going back home. Extra flight.
They don't want Stuart Skinner anywhere near his kids.
Yeah, but that was the plan, and then it changed. It changed like 4 times in a matter of a day.
Nanto's in the building.
Smells
just
like
came
he
walking
hacked
in.
a lot of Marlboros.
He just came walking in, and he's all pumped up. And Nanto's going to be great on the post game show tonight.
I can't
wait for that one. He's always going to be a lot of fun.
Smells like cigarettes in here.
Darts were amazing. For those that you didn't hear at home, darts were amazing, man.
I think he's talking to someone. I don't think he was still answering you, so that just worked out very perfectly. Do you guys have anything you still want to get out there from the Edmonton Oilers here?
Oilers in 6.
You're just gonna go with that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Kings in 7, and if not, the Oilers win the cup.
That's where my head is at. I think they're just shot off. They're not losing this year. Then if they beat this LA Kings, like they're just and mentally, it's just gonna be like this.
Yeah.
No, we're.
I think the Oilers lose tonight, though. I think they need their backs up against the wall. It's just in their DNA.
That is a very, very true statement. Very true. Maddie, can I read this text that came in? Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999. Maddie, what happened to the regular season doesn't matter. Only playoffs. A lot of stock in Kings regular season record.
Well, no, it doesn't matter in terms of the Oilers' success. We're not judging this Oilers season based off. That's what I meant. Regular season doesn't matter. We're not judging the Oilers based off the regular season. When this season ends, we're not going to talk about what happened in January. We're not going to talk about what happened in February. The only thing we will bring up will be potentially if the Oilers, let's say, lose in this first round. We'll talk about the health, which happens in the regular season. But we're going to talk about the series. The Oilers were always going to be in the playoffs. That's, to me, why the regular season doesn't matter. Get me to the playoffs when the games matter. An 82-game season is generally to book your spot to the playoffs, and then you position yourself in the playoffs. Yeah. I already, in my mind, before the regular season started, I had the X next to the Oilers' name. I didn't care. That's where the regular season doesn't matter to me as much.
Right.
It's the fact that the Oilers were going to the playoffs. That's why this didn't matter to me. Now it's all fresh. It's all zeros across the board. And to that, the LA Kings home record is zeros right now. The Oilers road record, it's zeros right now. All the points are zeros right now. Darcy Kemper save percentage and goals allowed average is all at zeros right now. So was Stuart Skinner's.
True.
It's a brand new season now. But the regular season, I will still look at the regular season to evaluate a team. I've grown to not care much about the season series, though, because I remember a few years ago, what was the series?
Winnipeg.
Well, the Blackhawks one. I didn't put any stock into the fact that the Blackhawks had the season series against the Oilers. The Oilers are going to beat the Blackhawks, and the Blackhawks beat the Oilers. Then the next year, the Oilers in that all-Canadian division dominated the Winnipeg Jets in the regular season. I said, they're not going to lose this series to the Jets. And the Jets took them out in the closest sweep I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, three overtimes.
Three overtimes. The other game, first game had an empty netter or two or something. Yeah. Like, it was just it was a 1-goal game basically for 4 games. And that's when I went, well, and then a couple years ago, the Oilers had that record when they brought in Ekholm. They were at like 15-3-2 at the end. Yeah. But then lost game 1 of their playoff. Like
like 18-2-1 at the end of that.
Yeah, you can't fully compare, but I will evaluate a team. Like the LA Kings aren't frauds over 82 games to me at the bottom. Yeah. Toronto Maple Leafs are a decent hockey team based on how their season went. And but no one actually talked to a few people out east and like, hey, are they for real when we on the EST afternoons? And it's like, yeah, not really. It's like, okay. I'm intrigued by the Leafs season this year.
My best friend's a Leafs fan. He's like, they might get to round 2 this year.
Yeah, and they won their division. And it's just, but that's to my point of regular season doesn't matter to me is that the Oilers were never going to evaluate their regular season. Unless they missed the playoffs, which they weren't going to. We're not going to talk much about the regular season when the Oilers season's over. It's either going to have a Stanley Cup or it's going to be, we're going to talk about that series that they lost in and go, this game is they screwed it up, or this they screwed it up, or this they screwed it up. It's not going to be about the regular season.
Right. This text comes in, says, Stoff would play the George Wendt character on Superfans, Oilers and Minnie McDavid in for Oilers. Good text.
Who said that?
On my phone, it doesn't have the name.
Oh,
Usually
sorry.
it saves it.
Yeah, I don't know why that happens sometimes.
It's weird. I've been trying to input the name.
I know, but it's on. If we go on the desktop, it'll be there.
Yeah, I know.
But they'll show up here, and there'll be one like, oh, it's Tube Socks. When I look there, but like it doesn't show up here, and like, oh, you're supposed to be in our system. So I don't know what's going on with that part of it.
I know.
We don't pay a lot for it anyway, so guess can't complain too much. EST Hangout, by the way, presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada storage experts, more than 2 decades helping Canadians through life's transition. Canadian storage provider by Canadian Sentinel.ca. Big Uke, Dallas thumped the Oilers late in the season too. Last year didn't end up mattering. There are so many examples of regular season records versus opponent not mattering. Yeah, either way. So that's my point of it. Matt Hyman, Jets swept the season series last year, including a 7-0 win late in the season. Regular season matters for standings. Playoffs are just different beast, and that's
fair point.
That's where I go for. And like that's where the Oilers evolved to me. The first years that they were making the playoffs, it was about getting to the playoffs, and we didn't know whether they're going to be playoffs or not. So the regular season mattered because you needed that X next to your name. But once you evolve and become the Stanley Cup contender, well, now it's you're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's how the Oilers were able to also potentially rest some guys versus... What do you guys make? How healthy is this team according to McDavid? Says they're completely healthy.
He's full of crap.
Yeah.
They're not. They are not.
Oilers, they will get going just after 8 o'clock tonight. GCLD's Oil Stream
Shaggy
pregame
and
show.
St. Albert's text, Tommy. That's who that was.
That was Shaggy?
Yeah.
Okay. And Timber Woodsman added his name. Thank you guys. Appreciate that.
Good one, Shaggy. That's well played.
Oh, I was going to ask.
And the Oilers... that's just the series. Wait, that looks really weird to me.
Are you on Cool Bet?
Yeah, I'm looking at something a little weird here.
In the meantime, Mo, your Jordans are...
epic.
Are those custom, or did you just find them in those colors?
Found them in these colors.
And you keep them fresh, too.
I only bring them out in the playoffs, usually, yeah.
I respect that. I noticed it immediately.
Yeah.
Today's outfit is very nice.
Thank you.
Well played.
I just threw it together.
This whole thing?
Didn't put a lot of thought into it.
Looks good.
On the money line, LA Kings minus 128, Oilers plus 109. So the Kings are the slight favorites.
Okay.
I guess, yes, I'll call them slight favorites in that. Maybe not slight, but they are the favorites going into this one. No, there's this weird result, 1-2. Oilers plus 175, Kings plus 305, and then there's plus 125. I don't know what that means. That's where I got confused. I don't know if that's the series or what. Actually, when it comes to the series, Oilers-Kings series, the Oilers are the favorite, though, to win the series on Coolbet, minus 127. The LA Kings plus 105.
Betting favorite.
So, here we go. McDavid, over 2.5 goals.
For the series?
Yeah. What are you guys liking?
Oh, over.
Over.
Bouchard, total goals in the series, over 1.5.
I'm going to say over.
Over.
You can make that's plus 180. But McDavid's was plus 120.
Really?
Draisaitl over 2.5 goals in the series.
Over.
Yeah, it's minus 150. Like, that one seems should be a little bit higher. Hyman over 2.5 is plus 135. And then there's also points you could bet on going into the series. Must play in game one to evolve in this. And here you go, Tommy.
What?
You could plus 325 for this. Win game one, win series. LA to win game one, Oilers to win series, plus 325.
Nice. Put a little sprinkle on that bad boy.
On the Kings?
Kings to win game one, Oilers win the series. Oilers is plus 150. LA's plus 200. Oilers winning game one, but the Kings winning the series is plus 500.
Yeah, that's never happening.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one. And then, so there you go. Interesting.
That is interesting.
Okay. We will get back to the Oilers here. There's two things we do have to get to here, though. Shall we start WrestleMania?
Sure.
Your guys' thoughts on the big spectacle that took place down in Vegas over the last 2 days?
Go ahead, Pete's boy.
Definitely hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
I think the Travis Scott stuff was the dumbest.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what they're trying to do, but just this.
Maybe could have took a little longer getting to the ring in the main
Well,
event.
I mean,
there.
I came in here from Beaumaris, and I swear he probably took longer to walk down to the ring.
Who was this?
Travis Scott.
He was, okay.
Took forever to get to the ring, and he's just, I don't know, I know that he's famous and that people know him, but he's just like,
it's not about you.
you put him, well, even you put him in the ring, and he's
Yeah.
this little guy, like just like a small build, and he's trying to look like he's tough and he's important, and it took so much away from him, I think.
agree.
But it just, I don't know, I feel like it was very lazily done. The other thing that I hated was night one. Did Gunther have to tap out that fast?
I know.
Like, you build this guy up, and he's this, this throwback wrestler. You put him in any era, and he's gonna be, he's gonna be a champion in any era. And you tap out in like 2 seconds. Like, give us a little bit of.
I get you're trying to sell for Jay there, but
you can build him up without taking so
absolutely.
much out of his tank. But yeah, that was night one. That was my biggest, I think, takeaway. Was like, wow, you sure tapped out fast. Yeah.
The only person that could take a long time to walk the ring is the Undertaker.
Oh, he did when he had his goodbye. It took like 10 minutes.
That's the only
It was in
person that,
Tampa.
because it works.
Yeah.
And it's just so epic. He's the only guy that could take like a ridiculously long amount of
Yeah.
time.
And it's such a long ramp too that
exactly. Football stadiums.
Yeah. I wish they'd bring back those old WrestleMania
The carts.
the carts, the Andre the Giant.
Bobby the
delivery
Brain
truck,
was coming in with Andre on the cart.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Do you guys remember those?
No.
It's vaguely recalling
It's like a
it in
golf
my mind.
cart with like the ring ropes and the turnbuckles on them.
Really?
Yeah,
So you
like
just,
little mini
float-
rings on their
float
way
to
in.
the ring in a little
Yeah.
mini wrestling ring.
That's amazing.
I think they did it because Andre the Giant had mobility
Couldn't make it.
issues.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they needed to find a way to get him to the ring.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. He
But
had
they
to walk
definitely
100 yards.
well, even now, half of the wrestlers drive up to the. I don't know how many cars there were this weekend, but 3 or 4.
Okay, so it's WrestleMania week it took over Vegas. Actually, I think they're at T-Mobile tonight for Raw.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Jesse Granger was posted. They finished the game last night. They're converting to wrestling. Then game 2 is tomorrow.
Because this is a big Raw, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
to
it's
set
biggest
up
Raw of the
the
year.
Biggest Raw of the
next,
year, yeah.
and then it sets up the next year.
Biggest
Yeah,
Raw of
a
the
lot of
year.
new storylines.
In fact, a lot of the Raw after WrestleMania is better than
yeah,
nights of the WrestleMania.
because WrestleMania would always kind of be the mainstream, and then the Raw was always kind of like giving back to like the hardcore fans. You'll see new wrestlers show up, a lot of new stories.
Returns.
Yeah, returns. People coming back from injury. So
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Like, was it too much in 1 week? Or was it
honestly
did
every
they handle that okay?
WWE is so big right now that if you want to try and keep up with all their content, so they got Monday Night Raw,
Yep.
they got NXT on Tuesdays. So Raw's 3 hours ish.
Yeah.
NXT 2 hours on Tuesday. I think Wednesday they bought a couple of smaller companies. So Wednesday, I believe they have an Evolve show on like Tubi or something. So it's kind of like their basically, I guess you could say like
Minor leagues?
ECHL, like
Yeah,
below
yeah.
the third tier, I guess. Thursdays they have what do they got on Thursdays? They have a Twitter show on Thursdays that's exclusive to Twitter. And then they kind of have a relationship with TNA now. So now they moved to Netflix and they kind of coerced a lot of these networks to take TNA and put them in. So because they want to keep their competition AEW to the side. So,
Right.
this whatever, Sportsnet 360, we're leaving, but here, take this other 2-hour wrestling program that we kind of have a partnership with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Thursday, I believe. And then Friday's SmackDown. Saturday, they do like Saturday night's main events. They do pay-per-views.
It's a full-time job.
Sunday, they have like 3 or 4 hours on A&E, which LFG is their new, it's like a reality show on Sundays. Great TV. It's probably my favorite thing on TV right now was that wrestling reality show. But literally every day of the week, it's like, if you want to try and consume all the content, there's no way.
That's just
You
WWE.
PVR, yeah.
I'm just blown away that SmackDown is now Fridays.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Years ago.
That like decade.
It was
ago or
Thursday
something?
night SmackDown. Wasn't
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's
for
been
a long
Friday
time.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's been a few years now.
I'm way behind.
Friday night SmackDown began. I wonder if I could find when they moved to Friday.
And WrestleMania week isn't just the WWE. Like every single promotion anywhere close to Vegas is hosting a show.
2005.
there. Oh
So
my
there'll be 20, 30, 40 different independent wrestling shows, right? There are all sorts of, there's tons of Edmonton wrestlers that went to Vegas for the week to go wrestle, not just to go watch.
So the wrestling world during WrestleMania essentially
Yes.
takes over the
Converges,
city.
yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of cool, actually.
I went to the
Super cool.
WrestleMania in Dallas.
Oh, no way.
And it's funny. Our 1-year anniversary, I somehow convinced my wife to go to WrestleMania. We went to WrestleMania, then we went to New York for our actual anniversary. I figured it's probably the only time I can get her to go to WrestleMania, nice and early in the relationship. But it was, it seems like the same thing I said about Chicago, where you didn't see any Blackhawk stuff.
Yeah.
WrestleMania weekend, literally wherever you are, it's billboards, it's T-shirts. Everybody everywhere is a wrestling fan. It was just, and it's only, that was 10 years ago, so it's grown exponentially
since then. Yeah.
I saw something on Twitter saying Paul Heyman might be the greatest non-wrestler guy in wrestling. Like, what did he do this week?
Did you think it was predictable? Did you think that was going to happen?
I
Yeah.
100% said that would happen. Yeah.
So he's triple threat match. He's got relationships. So Roman Reigns is kind of his boss, the guy that he worships. And then CM Punk is his best friend. So they're in a triple threat match with Seth Rollins, who hates everybody, who hates them all. So the storyline was kind of, he was with Paul Heyman, but he owed CM Punk a favor. So CM Punk's favor was going to be, you're going to be in my corner at WrestleMania, not in Roman Reigns' corner. So obviously Roman Reigns is upset, and then he starts out with CM Punk, and then the match goes on, and then he spoiler alert, I guess, for people that haven't PVR'd, but so he turns on he turns on who did he turn on?
CM Punk first.
So he turns on CM Punk. So you're like, oh, okay, so he's gonna align himself with Roman Reigns. Then he turns on Roman Reigns.
Nutted them both.
No way.
Yeah, and then he aligns himself with the third guy who he has no relationship with. I found it to be super predictable, but it was still, I mean, you compare Saturday night's main event to Sundays, and it was night and day. Like, it was a great match, great storytelling.
Which one was better?
Oh, Saturday
The
by
Saturday,
a mile.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
No, yesterday I think was just a total car wreck. I think that was one of the worst main events.
One of the worst Sundays for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not that they've been doing it that long, but
yeah, you want to put him in a conversation with, I've been watching wrestling off and on most of my life, but I remember Bobby Heenan was great. But I don't think back then they had the layers and the complexities with, I think it was just you be a bad guy and you cheat and you pass to the wrestler, the brass knuckles or whatever. But yeah, what Paul Heyman's done has been, and he just keeps on resurrecting himself from obscurity and rebuilding himself, and
He really
finding-
helps tell a story.
Yeah,
He just-
yeah. He's very important to the story.
Was Jim Cornette the one that had like the tan and the tennis racket?
Yeah.
I remember him.
Yep. Yeah, it was an average WrestleMania. I think overall it was. I'm a heat seeker, so I love the heels. I love all the bad guys. I love trying to see, how they can really do it. So, John Cena put on a textbook heel match. Ultimately, it wasn't a great match.
Yeah.
I don't think John Cena wanted it to be a great
Yeah, I think
match.
as far as what he wanted to get out of it,
That's
as far
right.
as I just want to win the title and go home. I think they
and
told
ruin
that
wrestling,
story
right?
okay. Yeah. But I just feel like especially after Saturday's finish with, like you said, like the low blows,
Yeah.
and then you go to. I just feel like the endings were I think too similar. One was predictable, one wasn't.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it was just kind of lazy what they did yesterday. And again, I go back to Travis Scott. Like you want eyes on you want to bring in viewership and Netflix and all that. I understand it, but it just didn't. I don't think there was somebody watching that being like, Travis Scott was the MVP of. It was just. It was.
That's the only part I fast forwarded. I'm like, okay, he's not in the ring yet.
Yeah.
Like, I skipped ahead a minute and he still wasn't in the ring yet. I'm like, what the hell?
That's the one thing. This is the first ever WrestleMania that anyone could have just watched without really paying
Netflix.
for it.
Yeah.
Because if you had Netflix, you got it. And every
Which
other
was-
time you'd
it's
have to
crazy to
pay for the
think.
WWE network, or you'd have to buy a pay-per-view in the
Yeah.
past. So this is the first time it was actually just accessible to anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
As
When we
long
were-
as they have
Funny how
Netflix, which
Netflix is everyone and anyone and not just a streaming network. Hey, it's like so mainstream now that anyone could watch it.
Yeah.
still don't have it.
I remember when we were kids.
Literally.
If we'd want to watch WrestleMania or any pay per view as kids, so we were in Slave Lake and we had family in High Prairie. They had like the big satellite dishes.
Yes,
like
I remember those.
Yeah. So we would, like if there was a pay per view, I'd be begging my dad, like, we gotta go to High Prairie so I can watch this, and or else you're pirating it or whatever. But now to be able to sit in front of your TV and watch it for.
But this was a big one for WWE too, though, because it's just straight up. They could have went like to anyone and went, "Hey, WrestleMania's on this week, and if you're not doing anything,
Yeah.
somebody could be just turning on Netflix and go, no, WrestleMania."
Yeah.
And so I'll be fascinated to see how they did numbers wise and
Oh, I mean,
how
they'll
many.
do fine,
Like this is a
100
potential that they had actual true new like before. You would never get new eyeballs necessarily for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
124,000 people live over 2 nights.
I love how both shows were sellouts, but they were different numbers.
I know, right?
Yeah.
They
What?
all of a sudden
Yeah.
squeezed an extra 2,000 seats.
So
out of the Sunday
Wikipedia
slot.
has 157,000 for night 1, over 60,000 for night 2.
I think they announced 61 and 63 or
I
something
think
like
both
that.
of them were over 60, but totally different numbers. So just imagine the Oilers being like
I mean, Stone
Well,
Cold
But
came
both
out.
sold sellouts.
both sellouts.
I've learned where they can do this. It's the private suites.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, they'll let a few more into each, and they'll be like, okay.
The other thing
that
I can
does happen.
see maybe is if they have comp tickets.
right.
Maybe night 1 they comped more tickets out,
Well, I think it's pretty.
and then night 2 they
More
had
people
more for
paid.
sale
Yeah.
potentially.
I think at least for a long time, I think they did fudge the numbers. I don't know if it's something that they still do.
Oh,
But
look at Will Ospreay's tattoo.
I don't know.
Are we looking at a
Okay,
tattoo?
so Will Ospreay is a UK wrestler that works for AEW, and
One of
they
the-
had
one of the
their
greatest wrestlers alive.
WrestleMania, which is called All Out in London,
Yeah.
and so it ended up being one of the biggest, if not the biggest, of all time live attended shows, like over 100,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
So Will Ospreay went and being a UK guy and being on the show and being a part of it, he went and got a tattoo with the number of the attendance, and then 3 days later they changed the official number. So yeah, they fudged the numbers still for
Yeah.
sure.
But I do know that like you can get people into the suites with extra tickets. Little ways around that.
I'm sure.
with
Yeah.
Dark arts.
I mean, WrestleMania is always fun. I didn't have a bad time watching it. Again, like loving the heels. I loved watching Dominic Mysterio win the IC title. That was awesome.
Is he face now? Is he good?
No, that's the thing in wrestling. Like you become such a good heel that people start cheering for you.
That's and the other way, like
Or the other way around.
I
They're
think-
sick of you getting jammed in your face, so they just boo you.
And recently, I've seen more of that where it's like they're booing Bianca Belair.
Mhm.
Some of these Charlotte came in supposed to be face or good, and everybody hates Charlotte. So she's like, okay, I guess I got to be bad.
Guess she's heel again.
Yeah. So it's funny that they kind of give the fans a choice. Like, okay, you're gonna boo this person.
Yeah.
Which looking back at Roman Reigns for a few years, everybody hated him.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, he's still gonna be the top guy. He's still gonna be the biggest face in the company. Where now they're like, okay, they're booing him. Let's turn him.
Charlotte and Tiffy was a little.
That was awkward.
It was rough around the edges that match, but I still enjoyed it.
I think their whole arc was weird. The whole your boyfriend sliding into my DMs and then stuff like that. I think it got a little bit off the rails.
My guess on that is they said, okay, let's lay it in.
Yeah.
Like now that we've had this accidental feud and whatever, let's actually lay it in. Like let's make sure that these punches land. And then I think they still pulled their punches. So then it looked weird because it's like this is a real fight where they're still kind of pulling punches. And so it was still an okay match, but it was awkward. I thought the women's triple threat match was awesome.
Yeah, I want the RK Athletics said the women's triple threat was an all timer.
RK's in there? That's Rich. That's my trainer.
So that was a top
What's up,
match.
Rich is also a wrestler. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, well,
Key member of the Rads
so there's
with a Z.
with a Z.
there's your WrestleMania wrap up. Now, what's going to be the big? When's the draft, or when do they switch? Or
Been a
have
couple
they
weeks.
stopped doing that?
Do they still do the draft?
I don't know.
'Cause
They said
they did that.
right.
What do they call it? The window. They had a window where you
I think
can kind of recruit from Raw to SmackDown and NXT.
like I can see Cody going over now, like to the other promotion.
I hate it when a good wrestler went to SmackDown because I never watched SmackDown.
I don't like.
And I didn't want. I'm like, oh, now I'm not going to see him
him.
much.
I
Why?
can never
In what
tell
way?
the difference.
The ending. It was just
Like
he went
I
through
just
this
like the
whole-
Monday start.
Right.
You knew he was going
I
to
didn't
lose
need to
though.
watch it later in the week.
Yeah, but I just feel like the way that he pulled up on the shot at the end, and
Oh,
they kind of went through that whole story with Kevin Owens.
yeah.
Well, he didn't want it bad enough to hit him or to take out his knee.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I figured it out now. Now I'll do anything to win. And then now your biggest match of your life, like, oh, actually, no, I am going to pull up and it's going to cost me the championship.
Okay.
I just felt like that was kind of going back on the story a little bit. But,
Yeah, that's fair.
but I'm excited for today. I think, obviously, I won't watch it live because of the hockey game, but there's a few old
What
wrestlers
time
that
does it start?
6 to 9.
6. I think.
You could get almost the
not
whole
starting
thing.
I'm
By the
gonna
time
be-
the game of puck drop happens, like you're pulling.
I never missed the pregame
I'm
show
an
with Tom
EST guy.
Gazzola.
All right.
So I'm going to be, you got to
Thank you,
watch
boys.
watch you guys and get all the latest updates and stuff. And I struggle to watch as much as I love wrestling. I struggle to watch it live. So it's
too.
usually something. That's kind of what I hate about Netflix is it's harder to skip through.
That's true.
because
Yeah.
it's just so much content. So,
Yeah.
but no, yeah, we got EST on all night, and then we got the hockey game, and then Raw will probably be something that when I unwind after the game
Nice.
and I need to kind of level out, I'll put it on. And but yeah, there should be some surprises.
All nighter for Pizza Boy.
Oh yeah,
I like
all
it,
nighter for Pizza Boy.
Who are the old guys coming back? You said.
So they signed a couple, and I don't know how big they're going to be, but like they signed Rusev back.
We'll see Rusev tonight for
So
sure.
he's this big Bulgarian guy.
Yeah,
that went
I've
over
heard
to
of him.
AEW.
Happy Rusev Day.
His wife, I think, is coming back. Too.
I don't think she is. I heard she might not be.
I heard they signed her to a
Oh.
Legends deal, so she'll probably be around.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
she's a legend.
And then
already.
Aleister Black, who's another guy that went over to AEW, and then he's coming back. And you'll probably have a couple of surprises, people that were injured for a long time coming back. So it's kind of like the annual reset where the new stories start, and the crowds are always usually really fun.
Nice.
I know when we went, I enjoyed Raw more than I enjoyed WrestleMania.
Damn.
Yeah,
Lots
as
times
far
it's
as the live
louder.
show.
Uke agreed with Uke was very much excited for the Monday.
Yeah.
Well,
As much as he
WrestleMania
was
was,
with WrestleMania.
especially back then, it was at like you get there at like 1:30, 2 o'clock,
So long.
and then you wait outside in the sun for 2 hours for the doors to open, and they have these dark matches. We were there probably for 8 or 9 hours, and it was like
Yeah.
even before like
That's why they
any of-
split it into 2 nights.
yeah, before like the main event. You're like, I
Wanna
paid
go
a
to
lot of
bed?
money and I came here, but I'm done. Like I do not care anymore.
You're
Like, it's-
emotionally spent. You've
it's
been
just-
screaming the
yeah.
entire time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's tough to sit in those uncomfortable chairs for 3 hours, let alone for 8 or 9.
Whereas Raw, you go in there, it's 3 hours, you're in, you're out.
Yeah. You're also you
It's
can
just
actually
as exciting.
you can actually see the wrestlers too. We were way up for WrestleMania, and you're just watching the screen the whole time because you can't see anything that's happening in the ring. It's just
Yeah.
way too high up.
If you're looking for a drink for tonight while you're watching Raw, for the Oiler game or the GCLD's Oil Stream pregame show 6:30. If you're not going to Boston Pizza Westgate, official drink of the EST Hangout is something maybe you want to have. The Finnish long drink, legend in 1952, a drink unlike any other sparkling refreshment, real liquor. Longdrink.com/Canada is where you can enter postal code and find a liquor store or establishment nearest you with the long drink. We haven't experienced the springs with the long drink. I'm very much looking forward to doing that.
So good.
Yet the games 3 and 4 at the Oilers.
I like Shaggy and
Friday,
Albert.
Sunday, you can pick up the long drink at
What did
OEG.
Shaggy say?
Sorry to back.
Wish Oilers had surprise returns from injuries like on Raw. Tonight, all of a sudden, Kane's walking
Kane's
out,
music
and
drops.
Frederick's coming out, and Matthias Ekholm then
Through
in the late.
hellfire and brimstone, it's Evander Kane.
I can't let this go because I don't want to miss the opportunity. But Pizza Boy is here because he paid to be the head coach of Team Edmonton Sports Talk in the Heavy Hockey Showdown. Round the clicks. Thank you for that. All in support of SACE, who are always still looking for your donation. So be sure to check out SACE and if you can, donate some money to them. But we had a great event. It was made a little bit better, a little sweeter for us here at Edmonton Sports Talk, or most of us here at Edmonton Sports Talk, when Pizza Boy led us to 2 victories and the title of the Heavy Hockey Showdown. Just want to make sure the trophy is here.
Well, I gotta
So
use
that
the washroom.
Pizza
I'll be
Boy
back in a bit here.
Could revel in his masterful job of being our head coach. So Pizza Boy, take us back a little bit to raise that round of clicks there. Winners win, as Big Uke says. Take us back to just how you led us to this crucial victory against Heavy Hockey. You know, Tommy's saying Oilers dominating the LA Kings this series.
Can you hold this for me?
Nah.
It was. I'll hold that for you if you need me to. But or you put. We dominated Heavy Hockey like Tommy thinks the Oilers are going to dominate the LA Kings.
It was a great weekend, and I want to thank you guys. It was a lot of fun. I've never been behind a bench before. I knew I wanted to kind of support the cause. I think everybody knows somebody that's been affected by sexual assault, and
Thank you for that.
thank you for organizing it and just to be around you guys. I mean, I'm such a big fan, and it's funny because now I'm kind of going into my heart a little bit. But I mean, we listen to you guys so much that it's like it's Tommy and it's Dusty, and Dusty's kids are there. Hey, it's the Muzz. It's so it's like you're just getting together with people that you don't know, but you feel like and it's just like such like a cool environment to be around. So it was fun, and I had no idea what I'm doing. And they're like, "So who's going out with who?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Like, figure it out." Thanks,
Solid
Maddie.
coaching.
Maddie helped. But no, it was just fun to be a part of the experience, and then obviously winning is always fun too. The camaraderie and the competition, and Dash's son seemed to want to be on our side. So
leave your
you
bench.
might have to slide him on our bench next year because he kept on hopping over to our
So
side.
true.
Smart boy.
Yeah.
He knows where the success was.
And you held the team together when Tommy deserted us. So
Yes.
I got
did a great job.
traded.
No, you didn't. You left.
And then after the skate issue too, it was a whole thing. And I feel like this whole poutine thing was just you trying to get this story out of the way, out of the news cycle.
Now we're going to the weeds. This is a wrestling WWE layers. This is a lasagna of storytelling. That's unbelievable.
Big Uke does say drink from the cup, so you're more than welcome to drink from the cup. If you got anything, we could also do it after. Totally up to you. If you still got some tea, feel free. And then Big Uke does also say hashtag MVP, MV Pauly.
Oh my god.
MV Pauly. I like that.
I was out with MV Pauly last night.
There it is. There we go. Mo drinking from the championship trophy. Well done.
Well done.
Well done. Keeping it healthy. Keeping it healthy too with that tea.
nice.
We'll put that there. We want to be. Oh yeah, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah. We don't have to make Dash and Tommy feel so just. Oh, Dash. Hashtag justice for Tommy the Nasty Chat.
Thank you, Dash.
Do need to go VR. Where is your pizza shop?
We are
do wanna give
located
some love.
in Slave Lake, Alberta, Alamo's Pizzeria. We've been in there. My family's been in the restaurant business since 70s. So we've had a few different versions of it. Excuse me. We won. Getting emotional. No, I'm not. I just got something in my throat. We won Canadian Pizzeria of the Year a few years ago.
Nice.
Let's do it.
That's round of
so that
clicks
was
for sure.
one of our other like kind of claims to fame, I guess, is we went like viral a few years ago for our fire department mistakenly ordered pizzas from an Alamos with an A, because we're Ali and Mo, ALIMO.
Oh, okay.
So they had this guy Google Alamos to get the number to order pizza, and he was from Ontario, so he Googled it wrong. They ended up ordering like $600 or $700 worth of pizza from a place in San Antonio. So they ended up paying for him anyway, donating him to like emergency response, fire department and stuff over there. So we turned that into like this random acts of pizza where we started just kind of going off of what they did and giving away pizzas and stuff. And
As you did today.
And then it just blew up. We were on like every news program. We were like trending on Twitter. CNN was talking about it.
That's
I
awesome.
shared this meme of, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Sister.
Yes.
Tia and Tamara,
I
where
used to watch that show.
run into each other. They're like long lost twins that run into each other at a clothing store. So we kind of had like that where it was like Alamos and kind of like the Spider-Man meme. But it blew up, and we were doing like media for like 2 or 3 days straight.
Jeez.
So it was a lot of fun. But no, we try to keep it fun. But yeah, if you're ever in Slave Lake, Alberta, come see us and we'll take care of you.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Hey, it might be worth just a nice little day trip.
Yeah,
We'll give it a
Should
try.
go camping up there.
Camping,
Game
fishing.
2.
Yeah.
Sexy 5 Sensi. It is sexy 5 Sensi.
Not
Spency?
Spency's feeling sexy.
He's got the Ned Flanders.
Okay.
Feel like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
I've had Alamo's pizza years ago. It was very tasty.
Thank you.
So there you go. So if Slave Lake, head on.
He spelled it wrong. Was he in Texas?
I've been to the Alamo. It's a lot smaller than they make it out to be.
But yes, thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. And once again, it was
Likewise.
a fun day. So awesome work to you again, Dash, for all of that. And
Yeah, it's a great day.
bring it next year.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say on that one.
Well, we talk about wrestling and there's long-term storytelling. I was telling Tommy last time we ran into each other there at the Bids for Kids event. I think Tommy and I spent a bit of time at the buffet table together. Sorry, that's another story.
I'm the bandit, evidently.
Yeah, I was right beside you. It was excellent food.
was so good.
Like so good.
That was good food.
Long-term storytelling. I think, maybe Tommy just sticks with Team Heavy Hockey going forward and,
Ouch.
He wants to
maybe
finish his story now.
I have
Yeah.
both
What is this?
uniforms.
Ouch. Well, the question is, I feel like with Team EST, you have to apply for reinstatement. Like, I think it's going to have to come to the group.
I have a spot on heavy.
Yeah, no, that's
lifetime
fine.
Heavy Hockey.
I don't think there's
convenient.
We honor those that do the right thing. We don't shun them.
I just found it convenient. The skate sharpening, conveniently having a white jersey with you.
Didn't want
It
to play with a
just-
bunch of cheaters.
Yeah.
I just feel that there's a little bit of
I scored a beautiful goal for Team EST.
I'd order
Yeah, that my
that.
brother passed to you.
It was a
Beautiful
great
pass.
pass from Mike.
Yeah, it's a great
Yeah.
tape-to-tape pass.
Not only that, your MV Pauly is my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow he's better.
Well, he's the MVP. Did
And
you
would he
win-
be there without Tommy?
Did you win the MVP?
I didn't. I should have, though.
No, you didn't.
Well, Tommy brought Paul.
No, you didn't.
So
Well,
if
Matthew
Tommy
actually
convinced...
recruited
I made the offer.
Yeah.
Ah, jeez.
I
So much for that.
As the assistant coach, I also took it upon myself to be a little bit of a de facto GM, and I rebuilt the roster from last year.
Right, with
doesn't-
illegal players.
doesn't
Yes,
know
I
his
understand
boundaries
this.
on the team.
Yeah, no boundaries.
Interesting.
Break the
Yeah,
rules.
you want to know something? I'm okay with it. I may have crossed some boundaries there, but you want to know what happened?
Bring in whoever you want, whether
Pizza
they
Boy
registered
came
or
in,
not.
he coached, and we took the title.
No. Don't
That's
blame
all
this
that
on
matters.
Pizza Boy.
I'm not blaming him for
He's
anything. We won.
all of a sudden you guys are together when you're cheating.
We won. That's what matters.
There was no collusion. There was no collusion.
In the end, we are the champs. And that's all that
The
matters.
deal was 1-for-1. Me for Glenn Ma.
And as a result, I don't think Glenn Ma has ever lost a heavy hockey showdown.
Nice penalty he took at the end of the game there too. Benedict Gazzola, says Big Uke.
Belzy went for a 260-pound man. He went down very easily.
Yeah, stack of Charmin.
Yeah.
Abutski, Slave Lake, the nicest beach in Alberta. I'll hit Alamos next time I'm up there. Do they have that good of a beach up there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Did not know that. So there you go.
Good
They
fishing.
take better care of it now. It's nice.
I just quickly want to say to anyone that's out there that is a Last of Us fan, yesterday's episode, one of the best television episodes I've seen in my life, in like a number of years. I'm not going to say what happened.
don't
or
tell
anything.
me what happened.
No, like I when that finished, like I was a White Lotus fan and still am. I thought back and I went, I don't think there was as good of an episode that I've watched of television since Succession final season. There's a couple of episodes in there that I would relate it to. Like, it's up there in quality. There's reasons for that. I could explain it like the director is an amazing director of this episode. He's done some incredible things. It was an amazing hour of television yesterday.
I'm looking forward
It was fantastic. And if you're Last of Us and you haven't watched it yet, what like this season, I don't know where the season's going to go and all that. And I don't know anything really of this game. This has been a great 2 episodes, but today, like I think it's an Emmy winner.
Wow.
It's best television I've seen an episode in probably 2 years. So
Eva G yesterday, a quote,
loved it.
I think he's boring. And I was like, what? It's a great show.
Hmm.
And I thought the first episode, to lay the groundwork, get everybody reacclimated with what's been going on, was fantastic. I mean, they advanced the story 5 years later. They follow the game when they go to Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, Barry, I'm deleting your messages.
Did he give away things?
He didn't, but it says if you play the game, you know, and all this. People don't play the game, so they don't know, and I don't want any sort of spoilers there. It's nothing against you, Barry, but I do take it very seriously when it comes to spoilers and things, especially in the first few days. By the end of the week, if you haven't watched it, well, that's something that you could potentially lose it. But
watch it
so very careful on those. But it's that was amazing television. At one point, I had to rewind like 30 seconds because I wanted to see something. I was like, I'm already halfway through this episode. Like it just flew by. Brilliant.
Just sucked you right in.
So I was completely just in, and then at the end, just like, wow, that was when you watch a masterpiece of television. And I've done it with Succession. Was the time there was a lot of those where I just sit there for a couple minutes and I'm just in awe.
There's a few Breaking Bads where it really pushed me too.
That's a show I need to watch. I've never.
Oh,
watched
really?
it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you did enjoy it a lot.
So that's. I just wanted to say something on Last of Us because it was
Necessary.
I just needed to get out. I need someone to talk to a little bit about it.
I'll watch it.
And that was
tomorrow.
me talking about it. That's me getting it out there. Just
All
also
right.
just like how great of an episode it was. It was just brilliant television. Brilliant.
Corey B. I put myself on defense to give heavy hockey a chance, but Tommy couldn't beat me. Thanks, Corey.
So, Oilers, Kings. I don't know how many hours we're away. It's 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4,
9.
5, 6, 7, 8. So less than 10 hours. So about 9.5 hours-ish. A puck drop. What is the key to the Oilers ultimately winning this series? I will throw that out there to you guys. Like, what do you think? If we're sitting here 2 weeks from now, we're saying the Oilers won this series. Why did that happen?
I'll give you the floor, Dash.
Like my gut wants to say goaltending. I think goaltending is going to be a key part of this series. If Kemper plays like he did in the regular season or has in the past for Colorado, then Skinner needs to step it up, I think, and match that. Outside of it, I think it's the really obvious answer. I'm sorry, you guys, but if we're sitting here talking about an Oilers win, it's because McDavid and Draisaitl carried the team.
No need to be sorry. Be Dash.
Yeah.
And that's fact.
It's like I'd like to say it's Blink 182 and it's all about the small things, but like it's not.
No.
Yeah, I think if we're talking about the Oilers winning, we're talking about Draisaitl and Leon, talking about the power play. If we're talking about the Oilers losing, I think it's a whole other conversation. But I think if we're winning, I don't think we're looking at Connor Brown or Adam Henrique or whatever. But I think if they win, especially with the injuries, we're talking about the same thing we talk about every other year that we beat them.
Yep.
Special teams and your superstars.
I'm not going into Darcy Kemper, but I will go into Stuart Skinner.
Okay.
In his career, regular season, I'll have to look up playoffs after though. 10 games played, 6-2-1 against the LA Kings, a .941 save percentage, a 1.91 goals allowed average, and that is in his career the second highest minutes against a single team that he's ever played.
How
the
many
only
shutouts? I think he's got 2 against them, right?
the LA Kings. Which
He had
one?
one this year,
Shutouts.
that
2
1-0
shutouts.
game, yeah.
2 shutouts.
Yeah.
I'll have to look up playoffs, but
I got it for playoffs if you want.
I could point out that I could do that with Kemper versus the Oilers, but Stuart Skinner some of his best hockey in his career as an Edmonton Oiler has actually been against the LA Kings.
7-3-0 in 11 games lifetime in the playoffs.
7-3-0.
Mm-hmm. With 303 and an 899.
So playoffs, it comes down those numbers, but he gets the wins.
Yeah.
And in the regular season, he gets the wins, but the number's a little bit higher. But he's got a very, very good record against the LA Kings. That I like Kemper in net for the LA Kings, but The Oilers could match in this series if it's just about the matchup. It doesn't matter about everyone else. It's just the matchup between the Oilers and the Kings. And historically, Stuart Skinner, he can get it done against the LA Kings. Tommy, there isn't one, is there, for you? Key. It's just they're just better.
It's just they got that dog in them, man. Like get ferocious and hungry, and the big guys will do their thing if they can get a save or two. Don't let in a weak one. They're gonna beat the Kings, and I think they will get in the Kings' head. And I think the Kings do have a little brother syndrome, and I know that the Oilers have the injuries and they're not healthy. Part of me thinks is them being strategic about playing guys because they're thinking about the long run. Maddie, you talked about it a lot last week.
Well, that was from a listener. I forgot who, but I'll give credit.
You talked about it. You brought it up, and for good reason. It's the Kings are focused on the Oilers. The Oilers are focused on the big picture, and that is going deep. And I think that's why we saw the rest. And they're trying to. They maybe recognized a few things last year where Draisaitl was nicked up, McDavid was nicked up. They didn't have Kane. And I think they're trying to counter that by resting them in the last month of the season. Did it affect the Oilers' play and the confidence in the fan base? 100%. But I think that strategy might pay off and get past the Kings, and away you go.
Yeah, I'll say this. If the LA Kings happen to beat the Oilers, it's like when the Leafs got past Tampa 2 years ago, whatever. They're going to be an easy out the next one because they've won their cup. That's how I look at it. Like
they're focused on Edmonton and we're focused on the cup.
It's once if they get the win, it'll be like, all right, we did it. But it's like, no, well, you still have 3 more rounds or whatever. But they were so focused on the Oilers.
Darcy Kemper, lifetime versus the Oilers.
Regular season.
Yeah.
12-4-4.
13 now.
13-4-4
with it's like a 920 something save percentage.
924 and a 222. So just to counter your
I threw those ones out there last year. And then the only time he played the Oilers in a playoff game, he gave up 3 goals. But it was that 8-6 Avs win when the snow.
Yeah, I think he took like a bit of ice in his
eye. Right. I forgot about that.
And that's, if you look at time on ice, like the Oilers are one of the highest amount of team like games played against the Oilers. So that is there. Barry the Cheater. Did anyone watch full seasons? I find it hard to watch week to week what happens. It's very easy to binge a season. I love the week to week. Sorry, just to sidetrack back to that. I love waiting. I love the anticipation.
No, I'm all Barry.
I love watching the preview for next week, thinking about what happened, and then the payoff of like watching. And then it's just, it helps me, I think, get through the week. Because I'm pumped about the next one. I'm pumped. So I had White Lotus, which went 8 weeks, and now this is going to go 7 weeks. And it's just, and that Sunday television and the weekend was something great. No, I hate the binge because I watch it so quickly. Like if Last of Us was a binge, it would have been done this weekend. It's probably going to take another 1.5, 2 years till the next season comes out.
Were you that kid
so
that
now
took
I'm gonna have
2
to
months
wait
to eat your Halloween candy?
Oh, it'd take a while. You get a lot of candy. I know. It brings me back to the old days, but there's just something about that, thinking about it, processing it, anticipating it, getting ready for the next one.
Yeah.
And again, I'll watch Last of Us in 2 months as opposed to 1 weekend. So when it ends, I'm just a little bit closer to the start of the next season.
There you go. That's smart.
Why is TSN sending me an alert? Oh. Atlanta Hawks promote Edmonton native Onsi Salah to general manager.
What?
I didn't know there was an Edmonton native.
Association
that
City.
was around.
Wasn't there one that was an assistant coach for the Celtics?
Oh, yeah.
Is that Anthony? That's not Anthony Parker. Is it Anthony Parker? I'll have to go double check that one. But they have fired their general manager, Landry Fields. And Salah has worked various roles with the Golden State before joining the Hawks on May 2nd, 2024. I'm very fascinated of this. Oh, it says a native of Long Beach, California. Oh, no, that's the guy who got fired. Okay, well now they're apparently an Edmontonian might be taking over the Atlanta Hawks in the NBA. We're going to have to hunt that down.
Yeah.
Without question. That's really cool. That's a neat little story that just popped up. Yeah, round of clicks for that.
Look at that.
Well, I'll quickly pull up the Boston Celtics. Okay, you guys have given your LA Kings in 7. Is that
Kings
what
in 7.
Oilers in 6. Oilers in 6.
Oilers in 3, Tommy said.
3 if it was possible, but I'll go 6.
Okay. Game 1 predictions.
Oh yeah, you don't do predictions.
I'm not doing a prediction.
There's a fence and Matthew has a nice perch on it.
I'm not doing any of it.
Yeah.
Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah.
Do you guys have game 1?
Oilers like to lose the first game usually, so I think they'll lose this game and they'll lose probably like game 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for today, I'm mentally prepared for a loss. So if it goes the other way, then I'll be pleasantly surprised.
4-3 Kings.
I think that they will lose, but I will predict that they win.
Score?
I will predict that they win 5-2 and assert themselves a la the Toronto Maple Leafs last night.
For scores,
Good comparison, Tommy.
Thank you.
I'll say 4-1 with maybe an empty netter for LA today.
Jermaine Buckner
That's the one.
was with the Celtics. He then has gone to he moved to the Hornets this year. So he's now with the Charlotte.
Cool.
We just learned that.
Yeah.
Okay, we got you covered for Oilers game 1 today. Lock Shop coming up next. We've got Oil Stream at noon. We've got EST Afternoons, Hernan and Gager. We got the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne from 3 until 6:30 today, because at 6:30, we got the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Tommy live at Boston Pizza Westgate. I will go from 6:30 until 8. Oiler game, and then once the game ends, GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show will have you covered. That's all to come here in Edmonton Sports Talk. Dash, appreciate you coming in today.
Give it up for Pizza Boy.
Thank you. Appreciate everything. Thank you for the 2-0 record leading us. Thanks for coming in. And once again, pizza place in Slave Lake.
Alamos Pizzeria.
If you're in the area.
Alamos.ca. Also want to shout out to I know my daughter was messaging me earlier, but hi to my kids. They've been watching and she was messaging me that she's proud of me. I'm proud of you. I love you. Abby, hi. Said, Saif. I'll be home soon. Daddy loves you.
Thank you very much, Tommy. Great stuff. Look forward to the Oil Stream, both the Oil Stream and the GCLT's Oil Stream pre and post game show. On behalf of Pizza Boy, Dash, Tommy, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning into the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage. Up next, it is the Lock Shop. Don't go anywhere.
Let's go. There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with here. Joining us today,